Fox News. After the deadliest day in the war in Gaza for people seeking food and humanitarian aid, at least 85 Palestinians were killed.
The UN's World Food Programme reports its convoy of 25 trucks encountered massive crowds of hungry civilians who then came under gunfire. Witnesses report being trapped for hours. The Israeli military disputes claims that many dozens were killed, saying troops fired warning shots to remove what it describes as an imminent threat.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. Israel's also been involved in fighting in Syria that's raged for the last week between the Druze minority group aligned with Israel and Sunni Muslim tribes. Hundreds of people have been killed.
The way the U.S. in general has reacted to all the events in Syria is with unbelievable concern.
That is Special Envoy to Syria Tom Barak, who's in Lebanon for talks, trying to broker a ceasefire. He says there's no plan B for the U.S. supporting Syria's new government after the Assad regime was overthrown in a civil war. President Trump is marking 6 months into his second term, posting on Truth Social a year ago, "Our country was dead with almost no hope of revival." Today, the U.S. is the hottest, most respected country anywhere in the world, though the president's facing numerous legal challenges to his agenda. One is back in court today, a hearing into Harvard's lawsuit challenging the Trump administration freezing grants to the university over allegations of anti-Semitism. Now, as for the president's schedule...
Tomorrow, the president will meet with Filipino President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. for trade talks at the White House. And on Wednesday, he'll deliver an address on artificial intelligence. Finally, on Friday, he heads to the U.K. to meet with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. And all of that as he is now just 1/8 of his way through his second term.
That's Fox's Doug Luzader. America's listening to Fox News.
After joining the United States Army, Thomas Kennedy served 2 tours of duty in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. But sadly, this soldier's life was tragically cut short. Thomas was killed by a Taliban suicide bomber in Afghanistan. He left behind his wife Cammie and their beautiful twins Maggie and Brody. Tunnel to Towers provided the Kennedy family with a mortgage-free home. Families like the Kennedys need your help. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords, VPN. But as much as you try to be in control of how your information is protected, there's lots of places that also have it. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every single second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock specialist is going to help solve the identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% off your first year with a promo code Beck at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Good Monday morning to you. Tug and Los until 10 with so much to talk about. I mean, sitting on a weekend powder keg.
When we finished up on Friday, I told you guys, I told all the audience, I was like, by the end of the evening, I believe we will see Donald Trump standing on the carcasses of his political opponents. Now, I don't know if it went all the way there, but what a crazy Friday evening right into the weekend.
Certainly eased toward it.
Oh, you want to talk Epstein, huh? Okay. How about we talk treason?
Capital T, capital T. Tulsi Gabbard yesterday was pretty extraordinary on all the Sunday shows. The one that got the most attention was the Maria Bartiromo interview that she did on Fox News Channel, where she basically laid it all out, saying that the Obama administration and everybody as part of it were as treasonous as you could possibly be. They took everything they knew was not correct, that was not real, created mass hysteria, and blamed Donald Trump for being a Russian agent.
If I may put this as simply as I could, because I was trying to explain this, and we did a lot of pool time over the weekend. There was a lot of adults that were saying,
yes,
so what exactly is going on? You know, I saw some of these news headlines explain, and I told one of my neighbors, imagine I ran over to your house and I broke every single window in your house. Then I lit it on fire. Then I called the fire department and said, hey, man, somebody broke into his house and lit it all on fire.
Freaking crazy.
I don't know who did any of that stuff, though.
But
you might want to look into it.
You better check into it.
They not only broke in, but then they lit it on fire.
Yeah, it was nuts. What's that, Jerry?
I said, check and see if he did it. This is insurance fraud.
Yeah, for sure. That's right. You know who it wasn't? Me. Definitely wasn't me. I'm just calling to let you know.
Not only did I not... I created the scenario, but then I reported the scenario, and then I said it wasn't me.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what happened. Broken down into the simplest of terms. And
it'd be one thing if it was just, here's the hearsay of it.
Oh, yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard made it a point, just as you said, on all the Sunday shows. I'm going to lay out to go with the corresponding documents, and I'm going to release more documents. And now, as they started talking about on Sunday, we now have whistleblowers coming forward because what does treason have? It carries at a minimum, according to the Constitution, 5 years in prison at a minimum. I mean, you can be hung for treason in this country. There's a reason why it's in the Constitution.
As you should be. That's the crazy part of it all is, I guess we got to wait and see how it all plays out. Like, if this turns into nothing more than political theater, not that I believe it is, but if it turns out to be nothing more than political theater, like they're not going to act on it, they're not going to do anything about it, it continues to tell the American people they're a two-tier justice system. However, I do believe that there is more to, because Donald Trump's not going to let this go. That's the reason I think it may go further than just the theater.
This is going to be damning for one side or the other. It'll be damning for the Democrats and the deep state if they move forward, if they push forward. And this thing actually has some teeth in comparison to what they were going after Donald Trump with. Mm-hmm. But it's damning for the Republicans as well if they don't move forward.
No, that's right. Exactly. It will screw them in the midterms because people are going to be like,
I told you it was just one party.
That's right.
I told you it was just them doing what they're doing.
You're no different. You're doing the exact same thing.
Even if it's a bunch of hearings with nothing attached to it.
That's right. Dude, if you're not planning to move forward and actually prosecute someone from the lowest level all the way to the highest level, which I would assume the highest level being Barack Obama, if you're not going to, it will be so damning for the Republican Party that they will lose the midterm in free fall.
I ask you this simple question, Tug, and I have not even prepped you on this. This is really going to be crazy for 6:07 on a Monday as we get a week going.
It's early.
When you weigh out the two, when you had this administration basically telling you, because we had the whispers out about there's something coming down here. It's like, I know you're busy thinking about this whole Epstein thing. We got something bigger. Does it not feel silly for anyone who invested time in whether or not a dead guy who his friends were?
Yeah.
In comparison to treason.
For sure. Absolutely.
Because that's what I got the belief when I started to see the poll numbers as they started to show that most of America did not, at least Trump voters, did not care about this story.
Definitely Trump voters.
And now it's turned into, well, now you put out something they do care about, so you got to deliver on this one.
And that's the thing. Are you going to? I want to believe that someone will be held accountable because here's the precedent it sets. If you don't, they continue. They're continuing right now. They're active and busy right now, formulating, scheming, because many of those people that worked under Barack Obama in the intelligence community continues to work under Donald Trump in the intelligence community, whether the CIA or the FBI or the ODNI, they are still there. Some of the same players that were involved in the Russia Gate hoax are absolutely still employed in the federal government to this minute.
Something that I noticed last night, and then I had to go back and kind of look into it and see, well, was that correct? Because when it's political theater, you will have so many people run, as they should. They run to X. They tell you this is BS. They will tell you that this is in Trump's case, it goes to True Social. This is a witch hunt. Mm-hmm. I mean, within the hour, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Have you noticed the last time that Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, the rest of the lot have actually jumped on X? They have gone radio silent.
Cricket.
There is nothing.
Yeah, because they know.
Like, this is
their words will incriminate them more.
They went, uh-oh. Yeah. This is like, they're not kidding around. No. They found the body.
They know. And that was the whole thing, right? We have to sink this man because he knows the truth. They know he knows. And that was the whole point of the raid on Mar-a-Lago. How do we get those documents back that they were afraid that Donald Trump had?
For Crossfire Hurricane.
For Crossfire, that was the only reason they went into his house. They thought he had the documents that
proved all of this.
Exactly. They're like, how do we get those back, and ASAP?
That was not just theory.
No, that's right.
I mean, that was the discussion point, that they wanted the Crossfire Hurricane documents back.
That's right.
And that now does this all really line out? That Donald Trump, by winning an election, remember, it wasn't like it was some scheme, some fraudulence. Like, he just beat Hillary Clinton because, and I was telling people at the time, the more Hillary Clinton talks, the more you don't like her. When it comes to what had gone on, 8 years of Barack Obama was enough for this country. We had been in a malaise. And so Donald Trump just represented, I'm going to get us out of forever wars, and I'm going to put money back in your pocket. That was enough to go along with a Clinton who was not likable to get him elected. And to see, as it all plays out now, how this was engineered to try and take back the government from an outsider, to the point where, as it looks like he's going to get it again, look at all the stuff they tried.
Oh, yeah.
Because they knew if he gets back in and he plays this the right way, we're all cooked. And in my opinion, I think they all knew they're going to prison for treason.
For sure.
To the point where they'd shoot at him.
Absolutely right. And have other people shoot at him and call him an asshat as long as they did. Call him a Nazi for 10 years. This has hit fever pitch for 10 years now. There's no surprise that people are taking shots. There's no surprise that people are saying, you have 25 Democrat representatives on Capitol Hill saying, some of my constituents come to me and say, they would really like to kill people. I mean,
what? How do you have your voters continuing to say that this is justified?
And how do you respond to that exactly? That's not a good idea. Maybe we should talk about this. Let's get you some help. You seem crazy.
I mean, I can go back, if I ever could, to the Aunt Pegs of the world and say, I'm just going to de-wire your brain.
Good luck.
I know. Let's just say that Russia had nothing to do with this. Obviously, the Russians, they had bought farms and they tried to buy some ads on Facebook. Okay, that doesn't matter. I mean, that's nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to spend, if you want to make an impact on Facebook, you have to spend millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I think they proved they spent $180,000. It's like, that's nothing. It's not going to work. But if you were to then say, all right, so the Russians didn't have anything to do with that election, and the reason why Donald Trump won is because after 8 years of Barack Obama and forever wars and the economic malaise, he was providing a message to beat Hillary Clinton because Hillary was not likable to most of the American voters. If you start right there and you can agree on that premise, then does it not basically show about all of the craziness that these people have bought into for the longest amount of time? Because they will often go back to, well, the only reason he won was because of Russia. Mm-hmm. Well, it never existed. And not only that, it was cooked up by Barack Obama.
I would say at this point, the only people not involved in the Russian collusion scandal is Trump and Russia.
The way it looks.
That's it. Those are the only two people, the only two entities that had nothing to do with it, because everybody else from the top, Obama, all the way down to the people, as I mentioned, who are still working in the intel community today.
We've had our say. Should we leave it to Tulsi Gabbard?
Yes, for sure. Let's hear from Big T.
The implications of this are, frankly, nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American, because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team, quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election, that the American people had chosen Donald J. Trump to be the next president, commander-in-chief of the United States. And so they decided that they would do everything possible to try to undermine his ability to do what voters tasked President Trump to do.
Newest polling shows that the Democrat Party, their biggest concern going into the midterms, saving democracy. Not illegal immigration, not health care for everybody. Those are like 2 and 3, and they're separated by miles.
You can't possibly tell me about saving democracy when your party hasn't executed democracy since 2008.
Right. Not even participated.
It's not even participated in democracy since 2008.
Did not participate.
In the online world, in the world where you're all allowed to say whatever crazy stuff you want to say, the left's only response to any of this is, well, this is the cover for Epstein.
Or the one that got them even more fired up, this is the cover for blowing out Stephen Colbert, because that was this weekend.
I'm not sure if we're going to equate these two. So the response to having Colbert be let go from CBS in May, which is still a ways away, over losing $40 million a year on a program, is for then Donald Trump to go, well, why don't, because we're getting a lot of blowback on this, why don't we release files that say that Barack Obama committed treason?
Yeah.
Like, do you realize how crazy you have to be to believe that these two equate to one another? Or that at one point they went, man, this Colbert thing looks bad for us. Let's release these files.
Colbert's been on the air for how long? And had 0 ratings and lost $40 million a year. Who in their right, if you run a business, who in their right mind could look at that and say, yep, we need to keep that on? That's a quality program there.
It just changed. The audience changed. The temperature in which we have this environment has changed. And one of the things that I think a lot of our late night people have forgotten is that, well, I'll say that. I'll reserve it for Jimmy Fallon, because I think a lot of times he's kind of kept everything pretty hokey and in the middle. That's how you win the late night audience.
That's right.
It's how do you keep it kind of fun in the middle? You can make jokes about anybody in the administration, any president. That is what you do. The moment you turn it into pundit propaganda, which is what happened with Colbert when the temperature changes in the country, and now it's a very pro-Trump country, well, no wonder you're losing $40 million a year. How do you lose $40 million a year? You're late night.
And
that's one of those famous shows on television in the evenings.
Why did they allow it to go on for so long? That'd be the question I would ask.
I think probably they were looking at the same thing I would be. Well, what if the attitude in the country changes? What if suddenly the people come back to us and they recognize that he's the only person telling the truth? I think by the time we got through so much of that COVID era and then what was going on in a very similar fashion, when we got through most of the Joe Biden presidency, if you were involved in the cover-up, if you were involved in telling me that he's totally fine, if you were involved in any of that, you lost your audience.
Yeah, because who's listening to you?
Who believes you at that point?
My eyes tell me, and you tell me something different. I trust me more than I trust you.
And tell me who were the primary people that were part of that. It was Kimmel and it was Colbert. And by the way, how have we ever reached a point where our late-night comedians were associating with the far left? Like David Letterman, David Letterman was always kind of out there, but it was never like in your face. It's David Letterman.
And he was a Democrat through and through.
But it was never in your face.
That's right. It was never, I'm going to insult the other side. I'm going to call them Hitler. I'm going to call them Nazis. And that's exactly what Colbert and Kimmel do.
I think if we remember back to the peak of Letterman, and we would have his top 10 list. Everybody loves a list.
Dude, yeah.
But the fun part about that is whenever he would issue a joke against any sort of Republican president, whoever it was, there would be this like sigh that he would have, like he was embarrassed to have done it.
Yeah.
Even though like the joke landed, he's like, well, I guess we went a little too far on that one. And then, but that was the way he softened up that stuff.
Absolutely, man.
Totally changed. And so Colbert's the first one to go.
Yeah. He won't be the last.
No.
He will not be the last. Do not be mistaken. And if ABC had any sense, this is me thinking about this yesterday or Friday, and I was talking to Scott Maxim, our web designer here, just, as in passing. He's like, what do you think about the whole Colbert thing? I was like, if ABC were smart, they would pair back up Kimmel and Colbert and see if they could make something interesting. You know what I mean? That would be the thing to do. That would be the smart play. They're not smart enough to do that. I don't expect they will do that.
It's not a possibility of them. Once you've kind of gone down that road, like Colbert is never going to be able to relaunch the Colbert Report and play that character again.
I didn't mean that necessarily. I just mean put them together because they obviously they have the same beliefs. They have the same everything. They're as one. If you were to try to make. I'm just saying, if you're trying to make some sort of play, try
to lose more audience
to create. So, well, right, but for the mainstream press, they would eat that up. Those two being back together. I'm not saying it would work.
I'm going to see how much more money I can lose.
I'm just telling you what would get attention for the short term anyway. We'll see what shakes out, because I expect all of them to be gone. I mean, there was an exec. I read this over the weekend too, and I don't recall the executive's name, that said that late night TV would be done in 10 years anyway. And this was maybe a year or two ago, when whomever it was that I was reading about said
the trend is moving towards skits that appear on social media.
That's exactly right. Then that's why Saturday Night Live will be able to be successful, because they just place each skit on whatever platform they want to. When we come back on Extra 106.3, remember, sports are serious. There's no laughing. No laughing allowed. We used to be crying. Now it's laughing. Next on Extra.
The Morning Extra from 6 to 10. Glenn Beck until noon. Clay and Buck from noon to 3. And The Kimmer Show on your ride home from 3 to 6. Plus Jesse Kelly from 6 to 9. And Jimmy Vela from 9 to midnight. The voices you need all day with the conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Good morning, it's Los. Let's talk about True Prep. You can always check them out, 1000 Cobb Parkway in Marietta, or go online, truprep.com. That's truprep.com. Now, there's a lot of stuff that True Prep does that is very helpful, and I would even say it's really cool. When it comes to food storage, I'm big into that. That's what they always have. If you're somebody who's an outdoor enthusiast, water filtration devices, you want to be out there in nature. Remember, stay hydrated, stay alive. That's important. But then they also have the other cool gear where you can charge your equipment while you're out there just by using the sun. All right, that's pretty neat. Okay, what else is pretty neat? When it comes to security, your home security, your personal security when you're out there, True Prep can get you hooked up there as well with the best prices on guns and ammunition that you're going to find in the marketplace. Also, you can always go to the website, trueprep.com, where they have their used guns and gear. They also have their sales and clearance items. They update this stuff daily so you can see what is in the store and what is on special. And then let them take care of you on the other side. They have their events and workshops page where they will show you what classes they have coming up. Coming up on August 3rd, that's going to be their first-time home buyers gun safety course. They're going to do that on the 3rd and also on the 24th. So not only do you buy your security, your gun from True Prep, but then they also help you when it comes to taking care of that firearm and safely storing it. Again, go to trueprep.com. That's truprep.com to prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
Make going back to school a little more fun as the Brewers and Marlins come to Truist Park August 4th through the 10th. The week includes the Ronaldo Lopez bobblehead giveaway presented by Coca-Cola, followed by the Ronald Acuna Jr. Funko Pop giveaway presented by Xfinity. Then head into the weekend series where it's all about the kids, including Kids Club Day on August 9th, plus 2 Kids Gate giveaways featuring the Chris Sale Triple Crown and the Kids Sliding Mitt. And the second half of August is even more stacked, with more fun as the White Sox and division rival Mets battle the Braves August 18th through the 24th. Fans can look forward to 3 giveaways, including the 1995 World Series replica ring presented by Coca-Cola on Alumni Night, which will celebrate the 30th anniversary of the World Series title, a camo rope hat presented by Realtree as part of the hunting and fishing night at Truist Park, and more. Tickets start at just $10, so get yours today at Braves.com/promos. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Upgrade your summer adventures with the help of Jim Ellis Chevrolet. Right now, save $11,188 off MSRP on a truck that brings the heat.
The 2025 Silverado 1500 RST from Jim Ellis Chevrolet.
This truck is built to move you. And with over 30 in stock at $11,000 off MSRP, your next adventure doesn't have to wait.
Visit Jim Ellis Chevrolet today for a buying experience that's quick, easy, and completely transparent.
Get started at JimEllisChevrolet.com and use the Jim Ellis Expressway to start or complete your entire purchase online.
Schedule an at-home test drive, complete all paperwork electronically, and enjoy the benefits of an at-home delivery.
Or visit Jim Ellis Chevy on Peachtree Boulevard just inside the perimeter. Jim Ellis Chevrolet, together let's drive. 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 RST, example stock number T15197, MSRP $56,350. After $11,188 in Jim Ellis discount, sale price is $45,162, excludes TABT and state fees. Expires 7/31/25.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking and the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword micro to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say micro to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
It's July 21st, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Junk Food Day. While it may be an excuse to indulge in our favorite salty snacks or so good it's bad treats, remember, too much of a good thing is never healthy. The term junk food was coined in the 1970s by microbiologist Michael Jacobson, who saw that Americans were eating too much food high in fat, salt, sugar, and preservatives. However, today there are many healthy alternatives to the junk food we crave, so remember, everything in moderation. Also on this date, in 1853, the New York legislature set aside more than 750 acres of land on the Isle of Manhattan, which would eventually become the iconic green space in New York City, Central Park. And in 1987, Guns N' Roses released their debut album, Appetite for Destruction, which would become the best-selling debut album of all time. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
Fox on Film.
James Gunn's Superman remains the #1 movie in theaters in the U.S. and Canada, collecting another $57.3 million in its second weekend.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah.
You'd let me interview you as Superman?
Sure. Superman has now grossed nearly $407 million worldwide. Jurassic World Rebirth came in second this weekend with $23.4 million in its third week of release.
We need DNA from the 3 biggest dinosaurs. Do we have to get a sample from an egg? I suppose we could try and get it from the parent, but they're a flying carnivore the size of an F-16.
But some new movies falling flat at the box office. The well-known horror franchise I Know What You Did Last Summer opened with $13 million to take third place. Paramount Pictures' Smurfs debuted in fourth place with $11 million. Jane Fergus, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, July 21st. Cobb County Schools voted to approve a policy change to school board meetings. Public comments made during the meetings will no longer be broadcast. Cobb Superintendent David Chastain defended the measure, saying the district took on the risk of legal copyright challenges to some comments made from the public in recent years. Chastain says the new policy will allow meetings to be more efficient and focused on school and student issues. Georgia state law does not require school board meetings to be broadcast. 12 suspected child predators were arrested during Operation Phantom Whisper in Cherokee County. Federal, state, and local law enforcement worked together, posing online as an underage girl. The suspects were then arrested at different locations where meetups were arranged. Officials urged parents to be cautious of their children's online activities. And the remains of a Korean War veteran were laid to rest in Georgia after 75 years of being marked as an unknown soldier. Army Corporal Anthony Conzi was identified by DNA earlier this year. He was given a ceremony with full military honors in Cherokee County on Friday. Today's weather, partly cloudy and very hot with isolated thunderstorms this afternoon. Temperatures will reach the mid-90s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
We love to laugh. We love to cut up. And we love for you to be involved with that. Look, I mean, we had that segment where we encouraged listeners to call the Kimmer Show and bring up a car crash in some way or other.
Car accident?
Yeah, there you go. Car accident. Exactly.
Don't do it. Don't
do it anymore. But people still do it. And you can't help but laugh. It is kind of funny.
Our Canadian brethren did it.
Yes, he did. And then our doctor friend that played golf with us.
Yes. I was going to say that we now have Vernon who also pulled it off.
Yeah. Again, unprompted. We didn't ask them to do that. They just did because they like to laugh too. And I think now Kimmer's getting the joke, so he laughs along. We love to laugh. Los comes from the world of sports. So I came from country music, and country loves to laugh. I mean, it's a bunch of hillbillies getting liquored up. Of course they want to laugh. Who doesn't? Sports media, on the other hand, they can't laugh. They find it repulsive. They find it ugly. All you have to do is laugh, and they're done with you.
If you thought I was kidding when I said that the sports media is filled with woke culture nerds and weirdos and nuttos, all right, then you saw what happened. We've had a huge win. I think that the era of woke sports is now so dead that it is no longer going to be part of the general lexicon. Like, if you happen to partake in it, everyone's going to roll their eyes like, oh, God, that's when the horrors come in. Like, that's what it is. You know, it's going to be that moment. Because think about what has happened now. You had Shane Gillis at the ESPYs, who issued one of the all-time great WNBA jokes. And it's so visual, like you probably wouldn't get it, but it really worked for TV, where he pointed out a woman in the crowd, said, so-and-so from the WNBA is here. He's like, I'm just joking. That's my friend's wife.
I knew none of you would know a WNBA player.
Genius. So New York Magazine ends up posting out on X. It has a picture of Shane Gillis, and it says, the famously offensive comedian. Shane Gillis is not an offensive comedian.
What? Yeah.
Like, it's not his act isn't like, ooh, he's abrasive.
Yeah.
You know,
he's the guy next door that has too many drinks and you laugh at.
Exactly.
Laugh with.
That's his is I'm either going to do this or be a football coach. That's his comedy. Mm-hmm. So it says the famously offensive comedian took several unfunny swipes at the women of the WNBA during the annual ESPY Awards ceremony. All right, there's the start of that. But here was a bigger point. And I think it was cool that Jason Whitlock, who has worked a long time in sports, done a lot of work now in politics, came over into our territory. He had a really good point. Did you see what Fox Sports ended up announcing? This flew under my radar. Fox Sports is the newest to sign a deal with Barstool when it comes to their FS1 programming. Now, Barstool, quite honestly, it's not for me. Do I enjoy Portnoy? Yeah. I like him. And I like a lot of their people that they have. I just know that whenever I've tried to partake in it, when it comes to satellite, I can't do it. Kids are in the car. It just doesn't, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it's dirty.
I just can't. Do people get in trouble saying some things there? 100%, absolutely.
Yes. But
it is a free speech environment, and I'm like, that's really cool.
Yep.
The fact that FS1, Fox Sports, decided we're going to even partner with these people. Shane Gillis just did his stuff on the ESPYs. You have right now where woke sports is getting punched in the gut over and over and over. I think they're dead. I think they're down for the count.
Dude, Sarah Spain, I didn't even know who she was.
Oh, my God. That's a giant. I hadn't even thought about her in probably 2 years.
I didn't know who she was. I'd never heard her name.
Sarah Spain worked. Now, I don't know if she still works there, but she worked at ESPN for a long time. And this is a woman that when the Me Too movement rolled around and all the craziness, she decided to use it as her opportunity to bash everything men. Men were the problem. Trump is horrible. My way is the way of the world. And it just got to the point where it was so tiring, but ESPN had to give her the ground because woke sports was now leading the culture for the time being.
Yeah. So there's a show that she's...
What did she do?
She's a part of. And she wrote, in a year of crazy growth for women's sports, choosing an ESPY host who doesn't even try to make clever jokes about women athletes. He at least attempted that for the men. He goes with a hacky, no one knows the WNBA bit.
Hilarious.
That Rapinoe is bad and repeatedly insults black women. Capitalize, cool. This woman was so offended by Shane Gillis. She was furious. And this is how I know she was furious, Los. She went back and started arguing with people commenting on her posts. That's how mad she was.
She is such an angry individual. And again, the Megan Rapinoe joke from Shane Gillis was funny because it wasn't like it was a joke about Megan Rapinoe.
Mm-mm.
It was about how things are more fun when she's not here because she has so many rules. And as they're kind of like not sure if they should laugh, he's basically doing the whole like, what, am I wrong?
Yeah. Somebody replies the WNBA four-time All-Star joke was one of the most creative jokes in ESPY history. And it was hysterical. She responds not only to him, but for the next 3 or 4 commenters who disagree with him. No, that wasn't smart. It would have been better to say 4-time NBA All-Star blah, blah, blah here. Fans of any of hers in the crowd, and then catch them lying, watching on tape. Yeah, that would have been funny too.
See, she's no longer part of ESPN. What she's done is she's globbed on to iHeart.
Yeah. She does un-F-withable or something like that.
So she basically now tries to make herself into the authority on women's sports. Like I'm arguing for women's sports. This is women's sports. I'm sitting there saying to Sarah Spain, I think I'm better for women's sports than you are. All right? You're busy talking to like Megan Rapinoe, who still won't even admit that having men participate with women in soccer is a bad idea.
After being beat by a 15-year-old high school team.
I mean, she's like, let's go to Megan Rapinoe. She'll be the expert. Megan Rapinoe still is like, that's fine. Yeah, you know what? They identify as women. Totally cool. She's such a fraud.
It's because it's pretzeling for her.
But this is why I say it's dead. This is her forum now. Mm-hmm. It's so off the radar. Like I was just saying, I hadn't seen her in like 2 or 3 years. I had to go find her. You had to tell me about her. I haven't even thought about Sarah Spain that long.
I had never heard her name before until I saw that. It just came up in my X algorithm. It just happened to come up. I physically had to look her up to figure out who she was and why she was so mad. But that I'm certain of. Furious, pissed off at Shane Gillis. Why? Because he made you laugh and they don't know how to. I'm telling you, Los, that's why these people deal with mental health issues at such a high rate. Everything's the end of the world for them.
Yes.
There's nothing that you can say or do that makes somebody giggle that is not the end of the world. How could you?
Everything is a personal assault.
That's right. Or a personal attack. Exactly.
Including a comedian doing jokes on a stage at an award show. And she's at home going, I can't believe it.
I bet she's a ball of fun. I bet she's so much fun to hang out with. I bet people are dying to invite her to the pool party.
What's so strange? Like, I get it. If you're not part of the party, then you make comments online, and now you infuse yourself. One of the smartest things I've ever heard in radio is a friend of mine. When the Hawks were winning 60 games, and I know that's got to stick out. Like, the Hawks won 60 games. Yes, the year they won 60 games, he and his partner, after they had won like to 40 games, he's like, the Hawks aren't getting to 60. If they win 60, I'd be shocked. You know, if they go to the NBA Finals, I'll go to jail. And they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They were 4 games away from, like, this was the whole bit that was set up.
Yeah.
And the funny part was, he goes, well, it's kind of accidental, but I made it about me. Yeah. You know, suddenly people were talking about, is this guy going to go to jail if this guy does this? It's making it about you.
Yeah.
And that's the deal with Sarah Spain.
She has to figure out how
I'm not here. I'm going to make it about me.
Yeah.
I'm like, but to what detriment?
Yeah.
Because now it just looks clownish.
And it is. And it totally is. Because now that I've found out who she is, I have no interest in her.
No.
If she would have given me some smart take about it, hey, that was funny. It would have been funnier had he did this. Then I'd be like, okay, yeah, you're right. That would have been funnier.
Like, when I make it about me, I typically make it tied to some sort of successful venture or an explanation as to what's going on so that we can all go, okay, you got that right about, yeah, I know, this is what it was about. I'm not making it into, well, when this person messes up and this happens, and then you'll see.
Yeah. Then the whole thing's going to topple over.
You realize how dark and angry you have to be in order to be... That is your thought process when you go on X. It's, what can I take that was actually a hilarious moment, make it about you, and then make it detrimental to whatever your cause is.
And then make it angry. That's why we have a better time on this show than they do on MSNBC. Ain't nobody smiling over there. Ain't nobody laughing over there. I mean, nobody. You at least, look, we don't... We usually have Morning Joe on, but sometimes somebody will change the channel. Fox News will be coming on, you know, and they'll laugh. I'll see them on that morning show. It's, you know, we have closed captioning on. We can't hear it necessarily, but I'll see them. They'll be chuckling and laughing, chumming it up.
These are serious times, Tug.
No kidding.
No laughing matter.
That's the problem. Everything is a serious time. It's always serious time. I bet they don't even laugh on the damn weekends.
Looking at Sarah Spain's timeline, and you're right, the argument she's having with regular people about how to, she's trying to tell. Let me just make sure I got this correct. Okay, the guy who's doing ads for Bud Light, who right now has a successful show on Netflix. It's very dude-oriented. The guy who is able to tour, and not arenas, but, pretty large venues.
Soon it will be.
The guy who then, when he does the podcast world, everyone goes to check out and listen to. You're the one who knows how to issue the joke, not him.
Right. Yes.
Do you realize why people don't listen to these types of women? Do you realize why the cat lady is so despised? Why liberal white women are so dangerous? Sarah Spain believes she knows how to write and issue a joke better than Shane Gillis.
The comedian. The dude that's blowing up. His career's blowing up. Yes, she does believe that.
Nah, that one wasn't smart. Smart would have been to say, 4-time WNBA All-Star blah, blah, blah is here. Any fans of hers in the crowd? Then catch some lying. Watch the tape. She actually believes that a guy who who's hosted Saturday Night Live, that she would issue and write better jokes. That woman hasn't issued one joke in her life.
She's allergic to jokes. She hates jokes, and she hates fun.
Liberal cat lady white woman. She's actually an expert in joke writing compared to Shane Gillis.
Buddy, I tell you, she's gonna get invited soon to SNL. She'll be there soon.
Trust the experts.
What's that?
Trust the experts.
No, I've already told you I hate the experts. I already told you this morning. That's why you see them on TV. They're always wrong. The experts are always wrong because they don't know more than you do. All you have to do is use your common sense. You'll outsmart the experts every time. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we come back, the left is using the blame them for what you're actually doing method. I bet you're familiar with this. If you're not, we will introduce you to it next on Extra.
Sports news powered by 680 The Fan and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, July 21st. The Atlanta Braves came out of the All-Star break by dropping 2 of 3 over the weekend to the New York Yankees at Truist Park, including a 4-2 loss yesterday afternoon. Tonight, the San Francisco Giants come to town to open up a 3-game series. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear the game action live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. As for the Major League Baseball trade deadline, that is coming up on July 31st. Scotty Scheffler is the Open champion, winning the tournament by 4 strokes over Harris English. Scheffler is the number 1 ranked player in the world. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
I ain't never going to win a golf tournament. I'm never going to win a baseball game, but I am winning at life because when I walk into my house, even on a day where it's, 75 degrees at 6:42 and going to be about 90 plus today, when I walk into my house, I'm like, it's quite comfortable. I've won. Life is good. You can be in that same situation. You can be in that same position where you're winning too when you get home. The house is cool. The cool air you paid for stays in. That is what you want to do, and you do that with Central Heating and Air Conditioning. They will come out, make sure that your maintenance is done and your HVAC system lasts as long as it possibly can. Those things are expensive to replace. You want them to last as long as you possibly can. Of course, that just makes sense. Same reason you go get your oil changed on the car. So how do you do it? 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com. And for the next 10 days, we're on the last little bit of the Christmas in July, where $10 from every maintenance agreement goes to Skyland Trail. They provide expert and evidence-based treatment to help people facing mental health challenges find a path to recovery. Help yourself, help somebody else, and stay cool all summer long with Central Heating and Air Conditioning.
A born leader never rests. The GLE SUV continues to advance its legacy with intuitive technology, rich refinement, and all-hybrid power, including a plug-in model. From safety to style, leadership is a GLE family value. Get an exceptional offer on the 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLE 350 SUV. Just $799 per month for 36 months with $6,253 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta and Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details details on this vehicle and many other models during the Mercedes-Benz Dream Day sales event at RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, extended through July 31st. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through July 31st, 2025. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Advance and protect. What is that in retirement planning? Well, Coach Pete is here to explain advance and protect.
What's the advance and protect strategy? Well, it's a way for you to share and participate in the gains of the market. Not all the gains, by the way. You have to trade. The trade-off is you're not going to get all the gains, but here's what you're trading it off for. You're not getting any of the losses. Therefore, you really are advancing and protecting. Or if the market's down for 3 or 4 years, you're protecting and protecting and protecting. And when it decides to go back up, you're advancing. So if you're protected when down markets and going up in up markets, you really can't lose. And then you turn that lump sum you have into a lifetime income you can never outlive, and now you're in control of your life all the way through.
A comprehensive review with Coach Pete's local trusted advisor, Craig Chandler, can show you how to get in control of your retirement. 800-419-6164. 800-419-6164. Craig Chandler, Chandler Wealth Management, 800-419-6164.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Are home repairs piling up? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Relax. We've got you covered. From drywall dings and leaky faucets to deck repairs and trim replacement, we're your one-stop shop for everything for your home needs. No more juggling multiple contractors. Just call us at the Trusted Toolbox and we'll handle it. Your home deserves the best, and we don't want you breaking your back trying. Call the Trusted Toolbox today at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. The Trusted Toolbox, your one-stop shop for home repairs and more.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 3 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffers from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. We provide testosterone replacement therapy, the P-shot, and treatment for ED, PE, and Peyronie's disease. There's not just one therapy that can solve these complex issues. When you visit our clinic, you're going to see me. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. 404-777-1911. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. 404-777-1911. Online at tbtofga.com.
Attention warriors, are you a veteran ready to navigate to success after service? Tune in to the Warrior Alliance Network. Join us as we spotlight inspiring stories, provide essential resources, and connect you with a community dedicated to empowering veterans. From career advice to health and wellness tips, the Warrior Alliance Network is your go-to hub for post-service success. Tune in Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on Extra 106.3. Join us on the mission, the Warrior Alliance Network, where warriors thrive together. Visit us at thewarrioralliance.org for more information.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. After a big weekend, there's so much to get into, and treason is kind of the topic of the day.
That's the reason for the season at times. Some would say when we get to July 4th.
That's right, absolutely. And it seems like it's worked itself back around to, July 21st and 20th, and will continue for quite some time.
Treason is bad.
You'd think people would recognize that. You'd think people would know that. And, people get hanged for it, go to jail for a long time. Benedict Arnold, one of the most famous treasonists in the world. Seems like people wouldn't want to follow in his footsteps, but there are those out there that will. As a matter of fact, Michael Schellenberger, he was talking about this whole Russia hoax. And he said, this is another instance, and you'll recognize this. Blame them for what you're actually doing.
This is another instance where you see the Democrats having projected what they were doing onto Donald Trump. The Obama administration was undermining public confidence in the elections, deliberately undermining confidence in the elections, and then accusing the Trump campaign of doing the very same thing. They knew that they didn't have the actual intel or any evidence to actually bring any charges against Trump, because of course he didn't do any of the things they were accusing him of, but they were constantly leaking to the news media. And that was one of the things that we saw revealed today in these new documents, is that they were using the intelligence community essentially as a public relations arm.
And then the lapdog media picked it up and ran with it. Couldn't wait to report it because they hate Donald Trump too. They couldn't wait to tell you what Donald Trump had been doing, quote unquote, doing.
At home in the office sits a book called Rules for Radicals.
Oh, yeah.
By Saul Alinsky.
Saul Alinsky, yes, sir.
And it will line out, here's what you're supposed to do as a radical. Here's how you're going to be able to obtain power. Here's how you gain power. And one of the key elements is to blame your opponent for what you're doing.
That sounds familiar, Los.
It's become a tactic.
Where have I heard that before?
And as we now look at the Obama school of here's how to be a Democrat, this is what has gone on. Now, I'll review some of the polling here, because we talked about how Rasmussen got so much of this right during the campaign. Rasmussen, by the way, over the weekend was like Trump +2. It's like he's back up and over. At the same time, they also pointed out, by the way, 60% of Democrats polled still believe that Russian collusion happened. So
And
even when it's put in your face.
Well, but that's the thing. Those Democrats watch MSNBC loyally. They watch CNN loyally. They watch The View loyally. Where do those messages get amplified? In those outlets. Those outlets, as I said, they couldn't wait to tell you this, because all they wanted to do was convince you that Donald Trump was Hitler, that he was evil. And Barack Obama, he's not a radical at all. Barack Obama, he's a fine president, a diplomat. How cool is Barack Obama? He's so cool. Everybody wants to hang out with him, the greatest guy of all time. When none of that is factual. None of that is true. Donald Trump gruff, yes. Obama polished, absolutely. Radical, Obama, not Donald Trump. He's everything but a radical. As a matter of fact, if you're a conservative, you want him to be a little more conservative, if anything.
Do you realize how many people did not want to jump on my tweet or my X post from Saturday?
Which one?
Well, they can't do this to Obama. You're going after the first gay president. That's just rude.
Yeah, nobody.
And it was like, hands off. I'm like, you realize why I have the greatest job in this building? I get to put stuff out like that on a regular basis, and I'm asking for the pretzel. I'm like, come on, jump on in here. And I'm waiting for the first person to be like, he's not the first gay president. And I'm going to go.
Ask Joan Rivers.
What? Go to Emory.
Go to Emory University. The story I brought you, 6 months ago.
Yes. Anyone who happens to write letters about having sex with men in his head every single day. No, it's totally normal. Totally straight.
And wrote that to his girlfriend.
Wrote it to his girlfriend to let her know.
If you're choosing people to write that to, it seems like your girlfriend.
But I was trying. I was trying to reel them in a little bit, because you know what it feels like.
Just going fishing.
It feels like this is. You ever have like one of the and normally they're women. Okay, normally they're women. But listen, if you're attracted to men, maybe you got some women tactics to you. You ever got any experience with a woman where there's no level of cattiness that she can reach? There's no bottom.
Oh,
it's like she's as catty as it can possibly be.
I've certainly seen it play out before, for sure.
So imagine that your catty friend, the person that you know, or some catty woman you know, is sitting around in a meeting going, well, the new boss is coming in, and how do we deal with this guy? Because I don't want him to have any kind of success, so we got to do something different.
That's right.
That's Russian collusion.
That's exactly what it is.
That is the Obama play.
But you downplay it a little bit because of how serious it was. It comes off as catty, yes, but it was so serious it's treasonous. It's punishable by death.
He's going to ruin everything that I put together in this office, and I cannot handle that.
That's right.
My legacy is on the line. That's what it turned into.
Yeah. And now his legacy is falling apart. His legacy is tainted. It's diminished. Think about the Affordable Care Act and how expensive that it's supposed to be this coming year. It is going up by 3 or 4-fold. The Affordable Care Act.
We told you almost 15 years ago it was never meant to control prices. It was never meant to create, it'll be a marketplace for affordable insurance. No, it was never going to do that. In fact, it was actually designed, and this is where the Republicans, to their detriment, have stepped in. It was actually designed to fail so that we would get to a single-payer system.
Yeah, that's right.
That was what it was. It was a system designed to fail so that the government could take over the entire industry.
Mm-hmm. And it continues to fail, yet they've not taken it over, thank God, because can you imagine how bad it would be if they did? I mean, they have partial control over it now, and it's awful. If you give them full control, it'd be like anything else the government does, a complete and utter failure.
When you talk to young people, and this will be like your son in a few years, once he's a graduate from his university and he's getting out in the world and he sees the first time how much comes out of his paycheck to pay for himself when it comes to health care. When you tell him that it was a third of that just a decade ago, you think that's going to be shocking to him?
Yeah, because he won't have any experience. He'll be like, well, why? How? What in the world?
Be like, see that dude over there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one that was the greatest president of all time.
They deemed it to have passed. If you recall, that was the Nancy Pelosi line when it came to Obamacare. Well, listen, it just went back over to the Senate, and now the Senate doesn't have enough votes to pass this. Well, we deemed it to have passed.
Yeah,
we got to pass it to read it.
Was that was
another Nancy Pelosi line?
I remember her saying it, but was that about Obamacare specifically?
Yes.
I had forgotten that.
In order to have access to it,
that's right.
So you could see what was in it, you had to pass it
to be able to find out what was in it. God, you're talking about low down, despicable, dirty,
and that is now. Like the one thing they'll point to, like, okay, what exactly is Barack Obama's legacy? I think Barack Obama's legacy is taking the Democrat Party into such an area where here's the future. It's going to be DEI, and here's what we're going to do in order to win elections. We'll be a coalition of those people who feel like, and this is really very much in communism, they've all been wronged. And the country has shifted. And now he's the one who looks like the guy that nobody wants anything to do with. I mean, again, he went on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris and told people essentially the same thing Joe Biden did. Well, if you're black, you'll vote for her.
Yeah, and if you're not...
And what happened?
You're racist.
Donald Trump had record voting within the black population.
Amazing. We'll play a little piece of audio later, probably toward the last segment of the show. Long tease, I know, but of a young man that is being described by exactly what Los has just said. It's a really, really interesting cut. When we continue on Extra 106.3, the intel wasn't just politicized, it was manufactured. Next on Extra.
Your favorite Extra shows are streaming live video from the studio on Extra 106.3's YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Extra YouTube channel and get the Morning Extra and the Kimmer Show in live digital video.
This is Tom with the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, what's with all this honesty stuff?
We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly.
How honestly?
We guarantee that each vehicle we sell will come with a bill of sale showing what we paid for the vehicle. You'll pay what we pay, plus an honest fee. Guaranteed.
No gimmicks or tricks?
Nope.
Man, this sounds like a new way to buy a car.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 or visit honestcarguy.com.
By texting 26022, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Tax Lien Code. Message and data rates may apply. Terms apply. Available at taxliencode.com.
Imagine waking up and not needing to rush. No commute, no emails, no boss. Just coffee, sunlight, and the freedom to choose. That's the power of tax lien investing. It's been around for over 200 years, used by banks, hedge funds, and the wealthy. And now, finally, it's being taught right here in Atlanta. It's secure, predictable, passive income backed by real estate and mandated by state law. And it pays you, sometimes 15 to 35% returns. You don't need to own property. You just need to see how it works and how to do it right. We've taught over 100,000 students, and we'll teach you for free at a live masterclass right here in Atlanta. If you're ready to start building real wealth through tax lien investing, this is it. Text EARN to 26022 to reserve your free seat. That's EARN to 26022. But hurry, seats are limited. Text EARN to 26022.
Serving my country required sacrifice. Sacrifice that changed my life forever. I remember the day I came home. Because of my injuries, this house wasn't right for me anymore. I remember the narrow doorways, the small bathrooms, the shelves out of reach when in my wheelchair. Every day was full of obstacles. I felt trapped. I remember a better day, the day my family received a specially adapted custom home from Homes for Our Troops. That day changed everything. Now we have a safe and accessible home to enjoy the freedom I fought for. This place, our home, is exactly what we needed to rebuild our lives.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
You could save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit progressive.com.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
We must ensure better preparation for the future. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Texas Governor Greg Abbott says ahead of a special legislative session the Republican called that starts today.
In a special 30-day legislative session, Texas lawmakers are expected to address the handling of the catastrophic July 4th floods in Hill Country that killed more than 130 people. Texas Governor Greg Abbott also asking the state legislature to consider an effort to redraw the boundaries of House districts. President Trump has said he wants the GOP to gain 5 congressional seats by the 2026 midterm elections.
That's Fox's Kristen Goodwin. Over the weekend, the number of people unaccounted for after that flooding in Texas was lowered dramatically from well over 100 to now just 3 missing. At least 85 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza, blamed on Israel's military opening fire on massive crowds trying to get to trucks distributing food amid a shortage there. Israel disputes that, saying it fired warning shots and blamed Hamas for creating chaos around food distribution sites as the war in Ukraine rages. Russia launched more than 400 drones and missiles last night, and Ukraine launched its own drone assault into Russia.
Huge lines of passengers, others asleep on the floor. Airports around Russia's capital, Moscow, feeling the impact of a Ukrainian drone assault. The swarm of drones saw flights grounded as a precaution at 4 airports, but the restrictions meant thousands were stranded many miles from the capital as well.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Is also an air travel issue here. Nearly 90 Alaska Airlines flights canceled or delayed after grounding all planes late last night for a while.
Following an IT outage, the second system-wide halt in just over a year. The airline requesting the ground stop for both Alaska and Horizon Air flights around 8 p.m. Pacific time, but then lifted it 3 hours later. While operations have resumed, the carrier warning of potential ongoing delays throughout the day Monday as they reposition crews and aircraft.
That's Fox's Ted Lindner. America's listening to Fox News.
After joining the United States Army, Thomas Kennedy served 2 tours of duty in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. But sadly, this soldier's life was tragically cut short. Thomas was killed by a Taliban suicide bomber in Afghanistan. He left behind his wife Cammie and their beautiful twins Maggie and Brody. Tunnel to Towers provided the Kennedy family with a mortgage-free home. Families like the Kennedys need your help. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords, VPN. But as much as you try to be in control of how your information is protected, there's lots of places that also have it. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every single second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock specialist is going to help solve the identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% off your first year with a promo code Beck at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
You may know Bortz is back, but not everyone else does. Tell anyone who loves America, Bortz is back on the radio in Atlanta, and his new home is Xtra 106.3. Listen to him now on the Xtra 106.3 app.
See, beat me to it. I was going to say that. Get the Xtra 106.3 app so you can listen to Bortz anytime you'd like. All of his commentaries there, all of his hits with the Morning Xtra, which we'll talk to him tomorrow about 7:25. And get that Bortz fix that you've been needing, that you've been wanting, that you've been hoping for. It's all available on the Xtra app.
If you have the app, you can actually show other people that, like, hey, I have the app too.
That's right. Like, flash it.
Right.
It's like a badge.
And maybe you might get special access to places. Like if you showed up to my house, I'd be like, what do you want?
Yeah, right.
And then you flash me the app. I go, come on in.
Let's get a beer.
It's like, let's go out to the back patio.
That's right.
Come on in.
Or let's go down to that magnificent pool in our neighborhood.
Let's go down to the pool. You have pool access.
That's right, man. We'll get you in there. And look, on a hot summer day, like this weekend, scorching hot, good Georgia heat. I love it. But we're not members of our neighborhood pool, so I have to literally go, hey, Louis, can I come by your house?
And I look at him and I go, who are you?
Yeah, that's right. And I'll flash the app.
And I go, oh, it's you, Tug.
Oh, welcome.
Come on in.
That's right. You can come hang out at this really cool pool with the
Oh, they got
blasters.
the water blasters and the mushrooms.
Built in?
Yeah, the kids love. They have they have a kiddie area. So a lot of young families, so that you can have kind of like the adults and the older kids in the main pool, and then there's just a small lagoon set up, and so that way, especially a lot of them with babies and little ones, very comfortable for them to be able to do that. And they always have 2 lifeguards on duty, so you don't have to worry about how much Tug drinks.
That's right. And but there is that one time during the day.
I'll save you, Tug.
Well, but that's the thing. He would have to, because then that one time during the day that they pull everybody out of the pool just to let you know, hey, the lifeguards are taking a break. Get in the pool at your own risk, and then you have to rely on those.
Adult Swim.
That's right.
It's Adult Swim.
To save you, to
make sure you got your floaties on.
Yes. Incredible
slip
scene.
those on, Tug. Like, hold on a second.
Yeah, that's right.
They're leaving. I need these.
blowing up the water wings. One of the coolest things, speaking of babies, one of the coolest scenes from this weekend was the British Open, as Scotty Scheffler just dominated the whole thing. But how cool was it when Nike released their little ad, and it was Scheffler and his little boy running around in the little green, leaned up against a golf club. And if you recall, it wasn't that long ago when Nike had Dylan Mulvaney pretending to be a girl in like girls, I don't know, activewear or something. So that's how far we've gone in the way of sanity back to normalcy.
I liked sanity better.
Me too, man. It's a fun place to be.
We had the situation with Jaguar where now they're starting to fire executives because of what's going on there.
Did I read 900? It was a bunch.
It's a significant amount.
Look it up.
But we've now moved much closer to it's okay to be about the family. It's okay to be about the sport. It's okay just to try and give you these heartfelt moments. You don't have to be an activist.
Yeah, but Nike, they fell into that. So many people fell into that trap.
But they've also done it the right way at times.
That's right. 500 for Jaguar.
Like Jaguar deciding to show you this very weird ad where you're like, I'm not really sure if those are men or women the entire time, and that was their
point.
Breaking conventional thinking. Okay, well, conventional thinking actually sells sports cars.
Right, and maintains a sane world.
I mean, why do I buy a Jaguar? Because there's a possibility that Tawny Katane could be dancing all over it.
Got my fingers crossed.
All right, I got 40 years of history showing me that if I have the right Jaguar, hot woman might be dancing all over its hood. And then 40 years later, you give me a different version that I'm not interested in.
I was just so impressed by the Nike ad because, and I'm sure they just always, it's which way's the wind blowing, that's the way we're going to program, if you will. That's the statements we're going to make. But going the traditional values route is you can never fail. You can never lose going that route.
But even when they step outside of it, if you remember the very famous Charles Barkley ad, and now how much it rings true when he talks about, I'm not a role model. Parents should be role models. It's like, don't put the parenting on me. I'm just playing ball and doing my stuff. It's like, you need to be that in your own home. You know how wild of a message that is?
Oh, yeah. Dude, people were so
like
mad.
At the time, they're like, I can't believe he says he's not a role model. He's like, I'm not a role model. Parents should be role models.
That's right. And he was not wrong. The ad wasn't wrong. I just don't know that people understood what they were trying to say, and that was ahead of its time. And that's what I'm saying. When they get it right.
When they get it right, they get it right.
But I got to tell you, that's a traditional values ad.
Yeah.
There's no more traditional values ad than that one, that parents should be the role model in the home. Again, you cannot go wrong with traditional values. When you start getting out of that into that weird lane, that's when you turn half the country off.
Meanwhile, as we fast forward to present day, I have a man who's the former commander-in-chief who went on a podcast and said that every young man
needs a gay friend. What? Well, exactly.
Because outside of your parents, you need a gay older adult to help mentor you.
So maybe because that's what he had. I guess.
This is Barack Obama going on Michelle Obama's podcast and explained that this is what young men need in this society.
Did you see social media blow up with the blowback on that? And it was typically it was younger to middle-aged black men going,
yeah, they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh, you have it here. Play this real quick. Yeah.
So
now, I'm glad Mr. and Mr. Obama is taking time out and spending time and doing the podcast together. But I just know I didn't hear Mr. Obama Sr. say what he said. This man had the audacity to say that he believed young men would be a lot better if they had a prideful man in their life. If you know what I mean by prideful, that's just me trying not to get community guidelines. He said a lot of these young men need a prideful man in their lives to expose them to other things that they might have not seen from a regular man. From a regular man like they daddy. So they need a prideful man in their life to show them the other side of the world. But what the is Obama talking about?
We'll play the rest of it because he goes on and he is extraordinary. What the is he talking about?
This is the avalanche that's coming down on Barack Obama right now.
I'm telling you, he's almost whatever it is. When you used to be the golden child and now nobody wants to be around you.
Well, it was
fall from grace.
It was a media invention. So much of it from the start of 2004 moving forward, it was a media invention. No one ever asked during that time period, and then as we got into him being a president. Well, was it maybe Sean Hannity who was the only person who was pointing out how he grew up?
Maybe Rush.
Talking about this is his influence.
Yeah.
These are the people that he associated with. And when you look at them being, Marxist activists, street activists, is it any surprise that we then have all the information that comes out on Friday that Tulsi Gabbard is putting out there that just shows that street activism, that Chicago politics never ended even in the last days of his administration.
Super polished. There was no more polished politician than Barack Obama. I'd never seen anybody. He was the one that everybody liked.
As long as he stayed on prompter.
As long as he stayed on prompter. If he ever got on policy, nobody liked it, and it was crazy. But let's hear from Tulsi, because when she laid everything out, I know Los, like myself, was like, "Yep, how long we've been telling you this?
We've been telling you
forever."
I just didn't, from what I had understood and the way I'd always explained this was a creation of the deep state, aligned with Hillary Clinton, with Fusion GPS, and here's how all this came about. What we didn't know is that there were actually meetings in the Oval Office that determined this is what we're going to do. We're going to not only say that this happened, we're going to create the scenario so this happens.
But you have to back up just a little bit in the fact that John Brennan told them, hey, here's what Hillary's campaign is doing. Just be in his own personal notes from the meeting with Barack Obama, he said, they're cooking up something.
Yeah.
And that's what this ultimately become. Listen to Tulsi here.
There's no question in my mind that this intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered be published, which contained a manufactured intelligence document. It's worse than even politicization of intelligence. It was manufactured intelligence that sought to achieve President Obama and his team's objective, which was undermining President Trump's presidency and subverting the will of the American people. So yes, next week we will be releasing more detailed information about how exactly this took place and the extent to which this information was sought to be hidden from the American people, hidden from officials who would be in a position to do something about it. And that's really the point here that I think is most important, Maria, and you said it in your opening. Accountability is essential for the future of our country, for the American people to have any sense of trust in the integrity of our democratic republic. Accountability, action, prosecution, indictments for those who are responsible for trying to steal our democracy is essential for us to make sure that this never happens to our country again.
And that's imperative. She's exactly right. If this is nothing more than political theater, or turns out to be, the Democrats will win the day and the Republicans will lose in the midterms, because it'll just be another, okay, got it, nothing's going to happen.
So we always wondered about the Susan Rice email. Now, if you don't know who Susan Rice is, this is the woman that, more than a decade ago went on all of the Sunday shows to tell you that Benghazi was created by a YouTube video. lied to the American public. There just so happened to be a Muslim-based fanatical attack on 9/11 on a U.S. installation, but it was only because it was a YouTube video, and it got them upset.
And they were making fun of the Prophet Muhammad.
Right. That is what she was doing. That was to cover.
peddling.
That was to make sure that they won the 2012 election because they could not afford to have that sort of weakness out there. And so that's what they were talking about in October of 2012, September into October of 2012. So this is the woman as the national security advisor at the end of the Obama administration. And this is also, you can find this from Catherine Herod. She has the email as well.
Incredible work.
Does great work. Susan Rice sent this email to herself on January 20th, 2017. Now, we've all seen the email before if you're familiar with it. It just strikes as being really weird. Documenting a White House meeting earlier this month with President Obama, FBI Director Comey, and others about, quote, Russian hacking during the 2016 election. Rice emphasized their work was to be done, quote, by the book. It was a cover email for herself. It was here's what I see what's happening here. I'm in on it, but I'm going to email myself to if I ever appear in front of Congress or I have any sort of, if I'm in front of a Senate committee, I can say, Senator, on January 20th, 2017, I wrote this to let everybody know this needs to be done by the book. And it wasn't. So there's going to be rats that'll jump off this ship.
Oh, sure.
It's just a matter of who cracks first.
And it will come down to who can you pressure, who can you get to, who can you and like you brought up in the earlier segment in last hour, there are already whistleblowers coming forward saying, "Oh no, we saw it from up close. We've been wanting this to happen. We have to restore the faith in the intel community that the American people have." Because I don't know, and me as a guy that worked in the tiniest bit of intel, not even in intel community. I just had a secret clearance, top secret when you were out to sea. But I just understand how important keeping our intel community clean is. And it is filthy right now. Nobody trusts it. I don't trust it. People that used to work there don't trust it. People that work there right now don't trust it. That's the thing that has to get corrected no matter where this goes or where it doesn't go. That part has to get fixed or we're screwed forever because we can never bounce back.
So we're talking about treason. Like that is part of what is being discussed. Now, by the way, if you just want to know what the Constitution points out, well, piracy, okay, that's bad. Counterfeiting, that's bad. Treason, that's the worst. That is the worst crime in the Constitution. We don't even have murder or anything else. We don't have that. Here's what we've got, treason. So worst thing you can do. Carries at least a 5-year sentence. That's going to have people, in my opinion, starting to whistleblow, starting to be like, here, I've got something on this. I want to make sure and escape prosecution. Here's what I'm going to have to say. Probably it'll start with Comey, that slime bag. But
yeah, what a dirtbag.
With that being said, the other side, their thing is, Donald Trump and Epstein might have been friends.
Yeah, right. But that's the smokescreen, right?
Like that is that is the game we're playing.
Okay. Well, Bill Clinton wrote him a letter. We know. We've actually seen that one.
Do you know they might have known each other? There might be documents that say they did.
Oh my. Man, there's documents.
We're talking treason. They're like friendship.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like this is going to work.
But that's all you have.
That's all they got.
And I can't wait to see how they react. Because over the weekend, they rallied the troops to come out and say, this is a big ball of nothing. This is the weaponization of the federal government. They even went to as far as this is Nazi America and connected Colbert being fired to all this. You want to talk about smoke screens? That's what all that is.
One of the funniest tweets I saw, and I'm not even going to point his name out. He's a Democrat activist. That's all he does. That's his job on Twitter, on X. And he pointed out, right now, the Trump administration is trying to set up so that everyone accepts the arresting of your political opponent.
How about 34 felonies? How about mugshot?
I'm glad I just told you that and you found it as funny as I did. I'm like Trump is trying to normalize putting your political prisoner Your political opponent in handcuffs?
Shot in the damn Oval Office. That's where you started, sir.
Trump's trying to normalize it. I'm like, you raided his house.
Went through his wife's undergarment drawer.
You got a mugshot on him down the street from here. Really? You put him in New York, and you made sure he couldn't hit the campaign trail.
But they do believe that media is still in their corner so much that they can get away with it because they've always been able to get away with it. So now they take it to the media this time, right? But they forget most people don't pay attention to mainstream media anymore.
Even when you start to go through like those images from here in Fulton County, when you see people we know that are in those pictures, and you say, oh, did you feel like you got caught up in political persecution? Like, hell yeah, I've never even talked to the Trump administration.
Right. Absolutely. Stephen Steele.
It was Sean Steele. Sean Steele was like, all I did was the procedural matter that the Georgia Constitution requires when it comes to a vote, and suddenly I'm caught up in this?
We had him on the show, and he talked about that. He told you, listening right now, he said, I did not do anything that was described. I did exactly what the law told me I had to do, and they got me anyway. Dude, that is the weaponization of the law and attacking your political enemies.
And the normalization of it. No, it's both. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
And to see people like, it looks like you guys are weaponizing the DOJ. I'm like, were you asleep for 4 years?
Dude, wake yourself up.
No, it's fine. They're always going to be crazy like that. If I've learned anything about what currently is consisting of the other side, predominant amount, it's the crazy liberal cat lady, crazy white liberal cat lady.
Aunt Peg, I love you. You're crazy.
That's what it is. Predominantly white. And then you're going to have a lot of lady men who have rejected masculinity and who are very lonely themselves.
Good Lord.
And now that is the core of your party, of these people that try to, I'm going to influence, I'm going to talk about this. I had put out a post on X, and the funny part was after a few of the crazies did their crazy thing, one person just said, you know he's right though, right?
You can raise all the cane you want.
You can say all you want. You know he's right. He just told you. This is what your party's made up of.
Lonely, I'm Mr. Lonely. Like they play in the ballpark when they find the one guy from the opposing team. That's the dude. That's the one that goes along with Aunt Peg, the liberal cat lady. They're the same person.
I just think that most of these guys, if they could just find the love of a woman who actually is demanding of their man in terms of like, here, you need to provide and be, be masculine.
Yeah.
It'd probably change them a little bit.
I would imagine. Have to. And it would make their daddy proud again. Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3 Mafia Politics in story time with Front Office Los. We'll do that next on Xtra 106.3.
Get connected to Xtra 106.3 on all your favorite apps. Then download ours and stream the station across Georgia. We're live online at extra1063.com. Stream live video from the studios on YouTube. And of course, Kimmer, Bortz, and your favorite Xtra shows in crystal clear digital on the Xtra 106.3 app.
Good morning, it's Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and Toro Mowers. Mowing your lawn shouldn't feel like a chore. It should be fun. It should be a good time. Just like for me, I throw in the headphones. It's time to go work on this thing. I'm in a happy place. Well, Toro lets you rediscover the joy of mowing. With a Toro mower, you're not just cutting grass, you're turning your yard into a place that you can be proud of, but you're doing it fast, making the work that much more fun. And before you know it, you're finished. You can find your new Toro mower at Howard Brothers. They have all the stuff to get the work done right, and that's a lot of fun to go along with it. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Toro and with Howard Brothers.
The future of business in Georgia is bright, and Georgia Power is a driving force behind the businesses and organizations that are vital to the growth of the state. Just ask Brandon Hutchison, Executive Vice President and General Manager of Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Make no mistake about it, we're big customers of Georgia Power. It really is a true partnership. We've ran NASCAR's highest level of racing. In the early days of Atlanta Motor Speedway, Atlanta International Raceway, as it were, they raced twice a year, and that was about it. And then we started figuring out that this is an 850-acre campus that can do so much more. And it's not just the larger events that impact the region, it's the local events that really impact our community. It's a big responsibility for us to be such a big player in our community, and there's no doubt that Georgia Power has fan experience front of mind all the time.
To learn more about how Georgia Power is helping businesses big and small, visit georgiapower.com and tune in all year to discover how they're powering the future of Georgia.
By texting 26022, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Tax Lien Code. Message and data rates may apply. Terms apply. Available at taxliencode.com.
Imagine waking up and not needing to rush. No commute, no emails, no boss. Just coffee, sunlight, and the freedom to choose. That's the power of tax lien investing. It's been around for over 200 years, used by banks, hedge funds, and the wealthy. And now, finally, it's being taught right here in Atlanta. It's secure, predictable, passive income backed by real estate and mandated by state law. And it pays you, sometimes 15 to 35% returns. You don't need to own property. You just need to see how it works and how to do it right. We've taught over 100,000 students, and we'll teach you for free at a live masterclass right here in Atlanta. If you're ready to start building real wealth through tax lien investing, this is it. Text EARN to 26022 to reserve your free seat. That's EARN to 26022. But hurry, seats are limited. Text EARN to 26022.
This is Window Nation, your source for affordable replacement windows at the highest quality. So if you've got old, drafty, sticking, or leaking windows, you need the experienced pros at Window Nation. You can pay a lot less and still get the premium windows you're dreaming of. Their custom windows are guaranteed to be a perfect fit, and they're backed by the best warranty in the industry. Go to getwindownation.com or call 866-90NATION for your free estimate. And for a limited time, get 50% off all window styles, plus pay no interest for 5 years.
A company that has been trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years has already done their hometown homework, like having the very best people, fair, honest pricing, exceptional customer service, and a focus on high-quality work. That's us. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Sometimes new isn't better, like out-of-town home improvement companies invading Atlanta with their inflated pricing and subpar work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, July 21st. Cobb County Schools voted to approve a policy change to school board meetings. Public comments made during the meetings will no longer be broadcast. Cobb Superintendent David Chastain defended the measure, saying the district took on the risk of legal copyright challenges to some comments made from the public in recent years. Chastain says the new policy will allow meetings to be more efficient and focused on school and student issues. Georgia state law does not require school board meetings to be broadcast. 12 suspected child predators were arrested during Operation Phantom Whisper in Cherokee County. Federal, state, and local law enforcement worked together, posing online as an underage girl. The suspects were then arrested at different locations where meetups were arranged. Officials urged parents to be cautious of their children's online activities. And the remains of a Korean War veteran were laid to rest in Georgia after 75 years of being marked as an unknown soldier. Army Corporal Anthony Conzi was identified by DNA earlier this year. He was given a ceremony with full military honors in Cherokee County on Friday. Today's weather, partly cloudy and very hot with isolated thunderstorms this afternoon. Temperatures will reach the mid-90s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Xtra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10, 7 o'clock hours brought to you by Van Sant Law Group. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com.
Settle in and get comfortable, folks. It's story time with Uncle Los.
Oh, we put a lot of work into this one. Thank you to Jure. Thank you to Tug, the Meemaw of talk radio.
I love you, baby.
Everybody loves your Meemaw.
I love you, baby.
Thank you to the sales members who insist on, hey, why don't we put it on this show rather than another show in the building? And thank you to America.
Hashtag America.
July 1st, 2024. This is what the left believes is going to save them right now. Now, what's so important about that date? Well, there's a reason why I didn't write much of anything on the show sheet, because I wanted to see, like, okay, what are we talking about here? July 1st, 2024 was Trump burst the United States. Now, you might remember that this is when the left went absolutely insane during the summer. Not that they aren't insane regularly, but whether it was the ACLU, whether it was any of these factions that said, They just made it so Donald Trump has immunity to do whatever he wants. Remember how he's now above the law? Because that was always the discussion point. It's where did presidential immunity begin and end? And that is something that had never really been discussed in a court of law. In fact, when you go through the actual findings, the idea of what applies and what doesn't is still up for debate, but they do have a couple of cases that might apply to this. And so I bring this up to point out this. So Trump versus United States, in which the court determined that presidential immunity from criminal prosecution presumptively extends to all of the president's official acts. That was the quote that they used. With absolute immunity, whatever you do that's considered an official act, you're going to receive presidential immunity. So if I end up in a scenario where we're looking to take out a terrorist and we happen to bomb somewhere, in some random Middle East country, and it hits a supermarket and kills 150 people, well, I have presidential immunity for that. That was an official act in which we were trying.
It wasn't the intent.
It was never the intent. In fact, part of what goes into this discussion and what goes into this reading is that it should never be the court to even decide intent. That it is left up to the president's discretion on what he intends to do. So I'll just read you a couple of excerpts from this. Because from the ruling, it says, held, under our constitutional structure of separated powers, the nature of presidential power entitles a former president to absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions within his conclusive and preclusive constitutional authority. You're the commander-in-chief. You decide to do something in the interest of this country or in the interest of another, an ally, whatever it is. No matter what you decide, as long as it's an official act, it's immunity. It's part of what goes on. It goes on to say, and he is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. There is no immunity for unofficial acts. Now, why is this so important? Because the left has been pointing at this case for the last 72 hours, saying, well, we already decided a president has immunity. There's nothing that can happen to Barack Obama. This was never an official act.
Right.
This was as unofficial an act as possible. Now, let me point out again from this ruling, this is not me writing any of this stuff. I wouldn't write any of this. I have 1 year of business law. Doesn't mean I can't read briefings, though, or any of these findings. How about this? As for a president's unofficial acts, there is no immunity, although president's immunity is required for official actions to ensure that the president's decision-making is not distorted by the threat of future litigation stemming from those actions. That concern does not support immunity for unofficial conduct. So, yes, if it's official, even if it's on the gray area of official, there's nothing that can be done. But if it's unofficial, it's different. And here's the next part. The first step in deciding whether a former president is entitled to immunity from a particular prosecution is to distinguish his official from unofficial actions. In this case, no court thus far has drawn that distinction, but it then goes to point out, here's some cases that might matter. And it finishes, when the president acts pursuant to constitutional and statutory authority, he takes official action to perform the functions of his office. If it doesn't have to do with his constitutional authority, that's when we start to wander into unofficial acts, and that is where Barack Obama's in trouble.
Question for you. Does treason fall into unofficial acts? Because it sure seems like, from that briefing, what you just gave me, that treason and making up something that you blamed your political enemy for is not an official act.
Now, the left will always then go back to, well, Donald Trump said this. He was president. He said this. And a lot of times it's, hey, we got cheated. Hey, they went ahead and played some games in Georgia. Hey, this went on in Pennsylvania. And we know that to be true. All right, so here's what the findings also point out. There may, however, be context in which the president speaks in an unofficial capacity, perhaps as a candidate for office or party leader. To the extent that may be the case, objective analysis of content, form, and context will necessarily inform the inquiry. Basically, if you say something on a campaign trail, you're not prosecuted for that either. You're still enjoying immunity. It is when you decide to partake in what would be an illegal act, such as something that's treasonous.
Like creating fake intel that says your political enemy is colluding with the Russians to win an election. Like that, maybe?
So as I finish story time, July 1st, 2024. This will not apply to Barack Obama. Now, it's going to be on this administration and this DOJ if they're going to move forward with this.
Oh, God, they can't get this wrong.
They have the smoking gun, but we've had the smoking gun on Letitia James.
Yeah.
The smoking gun on Adam Schiff has been out over the weekend over here's him signing paperwork for a mortgage saying that Maryland is my primary residence. All right, like we have smoking guns here.
Physically have it.
If you do not do anything, first off, July 1st, 2024, when it comes to Barack Obama, will not protect him. This was an unofficial act. This was done as nasty as possible. This is a total scheme. This was not in the interest. It's in the interest of preserving democracy. Really? By ruining it?
Yeah. Well, but
by interfering with it?
But with their track record, they might actually be able to prove that.
I would love to hear anyone in a court of law explain how this sort of act was in the interest of protecting democracy.
They're going to try.
That is story time.
That is Front Office Los. It's always good to hear from you. Hope you took notes. If you didn't, you can always go back and listen to the rest of it or listen to it again.
So you can explain it all to your friends.
Right. So you can take notes on the Xtra 106.3 app. It'll be available for you there.
It was 60-some pages I went through over the weekend.
Dude,
but it was important.
But think about at the end when they're going to try to make that sound like they're protecting democracy. That's what they've told their voting base for the last 10 at least 10 years, if not longer, when they would anoint whoever they wanted to be the nominee. When Bernie Sanders was the clear leader in the Democrat Party and they pushed him aside to give Hillary Clinton the opportunity to run for president, they knew exactly what they were doing. They were circumventing democracy there. They've got years and years worth of experience doing it.
What SCOTUS basically pointed out, and this, by the way, went down to 6-3. So you know who the three that were on one side.
Yeah,
this was a 6-3 vote.
Yep.
What you will find when you read through this is that if the president does it out in the public forum, whether he's saying it or his actions are in the interest of, hey, I'm very transparent about this. I made a phone call to go see where these votes were. I did that. This is all public record stuff. When that is done, that is considered an official act. Even if it's considered kind of like on the hazy end of an official act. It's when you're doing it off the books and it's got criminality to it, is when the unofficial act begins to come into play.
Common sense would tell you that.
And so the fact that Donald Trump did this to the point where you had news networks that were like, we can't align with this guy anymore. Like, he did it so publicly.
Fox News did that.
That is the reason why he had the cover that he had. This is different than if you were like, oh, I don't know, wage your own proxy war quietly.
Yeah, underneath the powers of the presidency, just to be able to get at your political enemy, along with your entire administration and the entire intel community. All started knowingly. They know that Hillary Clinton bought and paid for the Russia collusion nonsense, the Steele dossier, the discredited Steele dossier, and all of that. They knew it. And yet they still went forward with it. When you hear Tulsi Gabbard talking about this wasn't intel that was politicized, it was manufactured, that's what she's referring to. This was all made up from the very beginning, and everybody knew it. Barack Obama knew it. The intel community knew it, and obviously Hillary Clinton knew it. She paid for it.
That's what the documents are basically pointing out, that the entire apparatus, what we know as the deep state, the entire group knew what this was.
I was told the deep state didn't exist.
Yeah, we'll find out a little different.
Seems pretty obvious that it does.
That you had a scenario by which an outsider was going to come in and take charge, and that was enough. Had this been a regular Republican,
oh, dude, a George Bush type, a Mitt Romney type.
Not a problem.
Dude, because they all walk hand in hand.
Yes.
They're the same people.
This was the threat to the system.
When you see uniparty, that's what they're referring to.
And the system reacted by creating a scenario by which they could prosecute, or at least undermine.
Why do you think that George W. Bush goes to the Obama events but never shows up to the Trump events?
Right.
But you know what camp he's in? He's just guilty as the rest of them.
He's always been, the whole family is purely establishment Republican.
100%.
And nothing again, I thought George Bush did a solid job given the scenario that he was dealing with.
Me too. I voted for him then.
But if you know the history, Ronald Reagan, as the governor of California, running for the presidency of the United States, he was considered while in the party, the outsider. Now, not as much as Donald Trump.
By no means.
But he was considered to not be part of the regular establishment Republican field. So what did he do? He went and got George Bush. He went and got a Bush to run with him because he had to bring in the establishment. Yeah. So the Bushes have always represented that, and that's why when you had another Republican president like Donald Trump, in my opinion, is why the establishment reacted the way that it did, and at the head of it was Barack Obama.
Goodness. What a mess that the United States has been in for the past 20 years. And the crazy thing is when you go back through and look at all the things that we thought we were getting, I mean, you can start with the Patriot Act. You thought you were getting something that was beneficial to the United
wrong.
States. I was completely wrong. But doesn't that really open kind of the can of worms when they were able to do all the things they were able to track you, they were able to do anything they wanted to do to you, all in the name of national security. And that leads us, I think that's probably a big reason that we're down this road where we are now. Because of what we gave up.
There's a handful of measures that influenced all of this, a handful of decisions and changes that were made. You know, one of the elements that, like Mike Benz gets into, and Mike Benz did a really good job.
He's terrific, man.
When you can go back to his interview that he did on the Joe Rogan podcast, and granted, Mike Benz does not speak in sound bites. There's no such thing as 30 seconds that makes sense.
Well, because he's got such a depth of knowledge.
It's like everything he does in 3 minutes.
That's right.
It just takes a while for him to get to what he's getting to. But one of the things he pointed out was the Smith-Mundt Act.
About propaganda being used on Americans.
Propaganda being used on Americans, and how that was going to be made. It was illegal for the better part of until Barack Obama got involved. And now the Smith-Mundt Act, well, now you have propaganda that can be executed all over Americans.
It's still in play.
But you consider like these decisions that we've made, whether it's the Patriot Act, how, hey, they're only looking for terrorists.
You're not a terrorist, are you?
It'll never apply to me.
Yes.
Then they can actually influence with propaganda.
But isn't that the way it always goes? They're just doing this for you. They're just taking care of you. They're just looking out for you.
This will help for you.
So good. It's so good. And then you have to realize anytime that you're giving up rights, it's not good for you. It doesn't matter how it's packaged. It doesn't matter how it's sold to you. If you're giving up rights, if Americans are giving up rights, it is not beneficial for you or to you. And the Smith-Mundt Act will tell you that. The Patriot Act will tell you that. And anything else packaged that way will tell you that.
That might have to be for down the road this week.
That's a good one.
Because that Smith-Mundt Act opened the door for all of this. In terms of Russian collusion, to the point we issued the number earlier. Rasmussen has 60% of Democrats, no matter what you tell them, 60% believe Russian collusion was real. 60% believe Donald Trump colluded with the Russians to win an election in 2016.
Unreal. It's unreal that you can believe that, knowing what you know now. I mean, I know you listening right now don't believe that. But it's easy to follow the lies. It's easy to figure out why some people believe, because if you follow the lies, it'll lead you to the truth. That's the discussion next on Extra 106.3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, July 21st. The Atlanta Braves came out of the All-Star break by dropping 2 of 3 over the weekend to the New York Yankees at Truist Park, including a 4-2 loss yesterday afternoon. Tonight, the San Francisco Giants come to town to open up a 3-game series. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear the game action live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. As for the Major League Baseball trade deadline, that is coming up on July 31st. Scotty Scheffler is the Open champion, winning the tournament by 4 strokes over Harris English. Scheffler is the number 1 ranked player in the world. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Man, you wouldn't open the windows right now at the house because all that heat just come billowing in, and that would obviously make you miserable. But the problem is, if you have single pane windows, it comes in anyway. Those windows are not energy efficient at all. Not even the double pane in there, double ply. See, you can change all that. with Southern Exteriors. And right now, 10% off any job or 12 months, 0% financing, so you can replace those windows. And maybe you're in the situation where they're so old, they've been painted shut and you can't get them open anyway. But that heat still comes in that single pane window. You can get that changed now with a group that has done business in Atlanta since 1999, over 200,000 jobs under their belt, have a foreman on site. So it's not just workers that show up and you're kind of showing them where to go. No, the foreman would show them where to go, and the foreman's following the work. You don't have to go in there, and it's so awkward because I've had this happen on the interior of my house in the last year. It is, excruciating. It's awful. So having that foreman, if it's just that, if that's the one reason you use Southern Exteriors, make that the reason. But 200,000 jobs under the belt, they'll do a good job. Get you some new windows, get a new door, new siding, new roofing, new gutters, or repairs to any of them. 877-9-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co.
The summer's got you thinking about hitting the road. And with back to school right around the corner, you need a vehicle built for the road and safe enough for the family. And Subaru of Gwinnett has it for you. Like the 2025 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. Or the 2025 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right-sized SUV for all the adventures ahead, with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Gentlemen, listen up. When it's not hard, it's really hard. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 have some form of ED? It's true, and I'm one of them. ED followed me everywhere. Heck, even my initials are ED. I'm Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia, and I know ED. It can lead to feelings of embarrassment, stress, and sadness. But there's good news. I can fix it. I fixed mine, and I can fix yours too. At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, we are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, trimix to create an erection, and more. Guys, ED won't get better on its own, but I can help you today. Call us at 404-777-1911. That's 404-777-1911, or learn about us more online at tbtofga.com. So take it from me, ED, Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Call 404-777-1911 or online at tbtofga.com.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We have become a highly sought-after turf installation company in the Atlanta and North Georgia luxury residential market. Big reason for that is our installers are ATL Turf Co. employees. We do not outsource labor. They are trained to be experts in the turf installation process, drainage, grading. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
Make going back to school a little more fun as the Brewers and Marlins come to Truist Park August 4th through the 10th. The week includes the Ronaldo Lopez bobblehead giveaway presented by Coca-Cola on August 4th, followed by the Ronald Acuna Jr. Funko Pop giveaway presented by Xfinity on August 6th. And new this year is the Batman Ticket Package, which includes a Batman bobblehead and a game ticket. Visit Braves.com/promos to purchase your tickets as low as $10. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Dogs can hear 4 times farther than humans can, which makes it even more impressive how they manage to ignore you so effortlessly.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3.
It's easy to connect this stuff once you start kind of laying it all out, isn't it?
It's crazy, the dominoes that start falling. And I wish you were privy to the conversations we're having off the air, which we'll bring to the air. It's not like it's a secret or anything, but just the conversation continues about the treasonous acts of the Obama administration.
What we were discussing was that because the word that's going around the DOJ and the FBI is about a conspiracy case, so that there's no statute of limitations on conspiracy cases. And so if it's conspiracy to commit treason, and that ends up being a charge by which they move forward with, yes, Barack Obama might be able to claim some sort of presidential immunity, but he would have to have his attorneys argue in a courtroom that what he was doing was in the interest of the American government.
Spying on another candidate's campaign and then manufacturing phony intel in the interest of saving democracy, because that's what they'll have to use.
And so the rest of the cabal would be looking at least, that's the term, at least 5 years in prison. Now, that's at a minimum. Like, you can be hung for treason.
Which is what I prefer.
But if you're talking about 5 years in prison for something that occurred at the end of 2017 or at the beginning of 2017 before Donald Trump was in office, if I'm looking at 5 years, I'm like, who can I sing to? It was him. It was him. He's the one who did it. He's the mastermind, Your Honor.
That fella right over there.
He's the man. The educated brother.
That's right.
I'd be straight out of New Jack City.
Ain't me.
That's the thing to me. It seems like they've been taking on water for so long. Like at some point, the dam has to break. At some point, and when it does, it's going to happen fast.
Think about the lengths they went to. So they created something. They paid for the Steele dossier in Hillary Clinton. They created intel using Tulsi Gabbard's ODNI director, Tulsi Gabbard's own words, manufactured, not politicized, but manufactured intel that said Donald Trump was a Russian asset, that the Russians were physically trying to hack our elections to get him elected, to hurt Hillary Clinton. And to further it, they used their friends in the media to sell the story. Listen to Hillary Clinton when she went on The View and said, yes, Donald Trump, he was helped by the Russians, and it was all to hurt me.
There is no denying that the Russians interfered in the election. Right. Whether or not they had willing or unwitting help from the Trump team, they interfered, and they did so to help him and hurt me, and they did so to destabilize our democracy, and they have not stopped. I mean, there's been enough public testimony before Congress now by very distinguished, experienced intelligence professionals who all say the same thing. This is a clear and present danger to our country. Yeah. And I think it's important, and I would say this. If the roles were reversed, if I had won the Electoral College and I were in the White House and the intelligence services, I've served with them, I've worked with them, I've read their analysis, both on the Senate Armed Services Committee and as Secretary of State. You know, they don't always get it right, but these are patriotic, hardworking, dedicated men and women.
Of course,
and if they had come to me and told me, you know, we believe that this election was interfered with, we believe that it was influenced, and we believe they are still trying to get into our systems, I would have stopped at nothing.
Okay.
Well, that's the problem. They all came to everyone and said this did not occur.
That's right. The intel said otherwise is exactly right. They knew it the entire time. The intel did not prove anything that she said. It actually went against everything she said. And I love how she jumped in and said there's been so many testimonies, so much testimony in front of Congress from people that are so well respected. Those well respected people went in front of the Durham report. When they were interviewed there, they lied there. That's the thing. You're going to be able to go back and get so many of these people on perjury charges.
You would think.
That seems like that would be the opening. That would be just the opening to get some of these people to make them sing, to make them tell the truth.
The question becomes, because I know right now Donald Trump is extremely popular with the base. The numbers keep going up. You would ask yourself a question. Is taking out the deep state in the best interest of not just the midterms, but things moving forward? And I think you have to make a sacrificial choice. And let's point it out. The Biden administration knew they couldn't win an election by opening up the floodgates of immigration. But in their greater good, they did it anyway. They knew we got 4 years to wreck this thing in the interest of what we want it to do. So my question is, does Donald Trump and this administration, who aren't looking for 4 more years, are they willing to open up this can of worms in the best interest of this country moving forward to get rid of the deep state? Because it might cost you or it might not.
Well, it depends.
And I think that's the political calculus that has to go on.
I think you have to do it. I'd love to see it. That's what I want to see as an American. I want to see the reckoning for what's happened.
If you ever considered that Donald Trump mugshot did so much for him across a multitude of communities where a Republican had not won the popular vote in over 20 years, and not only did that, but he got through 7 swing states. If you consider that the mugshot was a very important part of that, what happens when you have one of Barack Obama, who's an icon, a saint of the left? Like, how much does that fire them up? What does that do? And even if you have him dead to rights for treason, what does that cost?
That's
what I'm saying. There's political
trade-offs.
calculus here.
There's trade-offs for sure.
Listen, I want that dude let off in handcuffs and stuck in a minimum security jail where he's got to go sit for 5 years and then have to stew on the fact that he single-handedly did more than any president in history to turn this into a banana republic. And then when he was out of office, he's the only president in 100 years to stay in D.C. and then pull the puppet strings on Joe Biden and then go on television and tell us all that he wishes he could sit in sweats in a basement and tell some people what to say.
And be his third term.
This is what he did. He did more to wreck this country than any president in history.
He didn't just want to do it. He did do it.
I mean, this is short of Benedict Arnold stuff. Yeah, I'll give you West Point. He was willing to give us up to the globalists.
Oh, well, that and the Naval Academy, too.
I'd love to see that man in shackles. But what will it cost?
What does it do? Yeah.
What does it do? What will it cost?
That's
the question we got to ask.
404-741-1230.
I'd love to hear what people say about it because
it's fascinating.
Again, it's catnip for me. I have never cared for what he did to this country. I think that he is communist number one. He is the head of the snake and always has been. What does it cost you to get rid of it? Being that he's lost enough political influence as it is.
But if you don't do this,
it
will happen again. Because there's no. What's deterring?
You have a chance.
What's the deterrent if you don't prosecute?
If the deep state has been as active as it's been in the military-industrial complex that we've heard since the 1950s that was growing, if you have a chance to kill it, shouldn't you do it in the interest of the long-term history of this country?
I feel like you have to. No, you're not wrong when you say there are political ramifications. And we have no idea how big. It could be a tsunami. Or maybe it's just a splash.
Or maybe it's finally, you did exactly what you told us you were going to do.
Gosh.
That swamp is drained.
Gosh, I hope that's it. Because I want to see those fools that currently work in the intel community, that are currently working against Trump and everything he wants to do for you and for America. Those folks to be under the jail. That's what I would like to see. When we continue on Extra 106.3, Tulsi used the T word with intent. Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Well, I'm guessing by now you know that Trump has pulled funding for NPR and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, over $1 billion. Oh, they've killed Big Bird. No, Big Bird is not owned by public so-called TV. It's Disney. There is no excuse for seizing money earned by American workers, money that could be spent on housing, shelter, food, clothing, whatever, and sending that money off to broadcasters to indoctrinate the American people. Oh, indoctrinate? Well, that brings me to this. Catherine Mayer is the CEO of NPR, and an evil Republican went online to research Catherine Mayer's tweets over the years. You want to hear some of them? Well, you've come to the right place. How about this? I'm so done with late-stage capitalism. Or, America is addicted to white supremacy. Try this one. I do wish Hillary wouldn't use the language of boy and girl. It's erasing language for non-binary people. Oh yeah, no left-wing bias at NPR, is there? A few more tweets. Oh, I'm grateful for those who have pointed out my phrasing could be understood as trans erasure. And how about this? What is the deranged, racist sociopath ranting about today? I truly don't understand. The sociopath she's talking about? Donald Trump, the CEO of NPR, calls him a deranged, racist sociopath. Now they're not going to receive any more taxpayer funds. Gotta love it. Almost as much as Stephen Colbert being canceled. Neil Bortz Extra, 106.3.
This is House Call for Health. You've heard of being hangry, so hungry that you're angry. What about being hotgry, with summer in full swing and the heat as well? One health expert is sharing why rising temperatures might make you feel more irritable. Dr. Susan Albers, a psychologist with Cleveland Clinic, says our bodies can go into overdrive to keep us cool, and that can create stress, draining energy, and impacting how you think through issues. Dr. Albers says heat can also take a toll on your sleep, and the less sleep you get, the more impatient or irritable you might become. Previous studies show heat waves can increase rates of emergency room visits, aggression, and violence. Dr. Albers notes it's important to drink lots of water to avoid becoming dehydrated because that could impact your mood as well. And if you do have activities or errands to do, try them in the early morning or evening hours to avoid the worst of the heat. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
America is the hottest and most respected country in the world. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump posted that on Truth Social, marking 6 months into his second term, writing he's revived the dead country. But Fox's Madeline Rivera reports from the White House.
There are some challenges ahead, too. Economists are still nervous the tariffs could drive up inflation. And LA Mayor Karen Bass says the immigration raids in her city have sparked fear.
If you ask me, is there anything that they have done good in terms of immigration? I don't know. I don't think so.
Mayor Bass on ABC's This Week. She says masked immigration agents apprehending people off the streets look like kidnappings. But acting ICE Director Todd Lyons tells CBS Face the Nation the masks are necessary because agents have been targeted and attacked for doing their jobs.
I think the sharp increase in the rhetoric, especially from a lot of elected officials that are shaming, if you will, or speaking out against the ICE law enforcement mission is what's really increasing these attacks on officers.
Texas lawmakers start a special session today called by Republican Governor Greg Abbott, focused in part on what Abbott says is ensuring better flood preparation for the future. After the July 4th disaster that left 135 people dead, including children, and a camp inundated by a massive rush of water following heavy rain, the number unaccounted for is down to just 3. At least 80 people are dead in Gaza, where Palestinians blame Israel for opening fire on crowds of people rushing to reach food distribution trucks. The Israelis blame Hamas for creating chaos.
The Israeli military disputes claims that many dozens were killed, saying troops fired warning shots to remove what it describes as an imminent threat. The Israel Defense Forces have also issued new evacuation orders for parts of central Gaza. That's one of the few areas where ground troops have rarely operated.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. A disaster in Bangladesh. An Air Force training plane crashed into a school campus, burst into flames. At least 18 people killed, dozens injured. America's listening to Fox News.
After joining the United States Army, Thomas Kennedy served 2 tours of duty in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. But sadly, this soldier's life was tragically cut short. Thomas was killed by a Taliban suicide bomber in Afghanistan. He left behind his wife Cammie and their beautiful twins Maggie and Brody. Tunnel to Towers provided the Kennedy family with a mortgage-free home. Families like the Kennedys need your help. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords, VPN. But as much as you try to be in control of how your information is protected, there's lots of places that also have it. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every single second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock specialist is going to help solve the identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% off your first year with a promo code Beck at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the
not getting to get into the parking deck.
The system somehow is, I don't know, it's got some issue going on with it. And it flat out kept telling you, you're already parked in here. I'm like, no, how am I? I'm in my car.
How can I be parked in there if I'm trying to get in?
So I went down there, and there's a very nice lady who was at the front. I was like, I'm so glad you're here. I needed your help at 5-something this morning.
She's like, well, sister, I ain't here.
And she just goes, well, did you try and beep in? She's like, yeah. She's like, did you beep out before? It's like, yeah. How do you think I got my car?
Yeah, exactly. Had to get out.
So, finally got back in there. So,
yeah,
it's all pluses all the way around now.
I tell you what, I sat there and literally waited on hold in front of the little, the little machine.
The little pad. I did about 5 minutes waiting there this morning.
12, I think it was about 12 total minutes, and they finally came back and was like, we don't know what's wrong. And then the gate opened. I was like, all right.
She got on the phone, and somebody was like, I don't know what's going on. Just put him in.
Chris is in Marietta, Los, and he wants to talk about, do we want those people in handcuffs? What are the legal ramifications? What are the political ramifications? Chris, good morning. Thanks for listening to the Morning Extra. We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I voted to have people arrested. I voted for the deep state. I don't care about a list. I don't care about a this or that. But, Barack, he ran on fundamentally changing America. Yeah. And I think you go in and you get the NGOs and you get all the people around him and you just leave him alone and let him know, man, you're going to die a lonely man. And just, putting him in jail, I think, will give too much fodder. But you can get everybody around him, and you can undo everything that he did.
So you're saying don't arrest Obama, but everybody
take out the rest
that helped him.
That scene of John Travolta where he's looking around and
where are all my friends?
John Brennan, get them all, and just leave him standing there, like, hey, I got nothing. I did nothing.
I don't mind that, Chris. Thank you for the call. I will say this. That was my concern about what if you cut off the head of the snake and now it's a hydra and there's like 5 other heads that pop up.
Yeah.
Now, the Democrats don't have leadership right now. You can keep them that way. If you happen to create a scenario, and I like his idea, if you gut the rest of the deep state and you basically let him alone.
Because let me tell you, that does alleviate some of that political fallout. That doesn't give them the who
doesn't want to see Hillary Clinton get in trouble, or Comey, or Brennan?
Gosh. Hillary, more than anybody.
Like all of them going to prison or having to get up in front and explain themselves to why they don't deserve 5 years?
Dude, I did not vote for Donald Trump the first time around. Now, I pulled the lever for him, but I didn't vote for him. I voted against Hillary. In 2016, that's what I did. I could not stand her. I still to this moment couldn't stand her. I didn't even consider. In the primary, I voted for Dr. Ben Carson. So I wasn't early on this, and I'm okay with that. I don't worship at the altar of Trump now. Do I think he's an incredible president? Do I think he cares about the country the same way I do? Yes, I've learned that, and I appreciate who he is. But do I think he's flawless? Absolutely not. But my desire for Hillary Clinton to have a mugshot, because there's no political fallout to that. There's zero. I don't think there's any political fallout.
She is persona non grata within the party.
She's lower than a snake's belly. She is the worst of the worst. Crooked as a dog's hind leg. She is everything that's wrong with American politics.
Something we can point out that applies at the national level that doesn't apply everywhere. There are Democrats that can lose, and they keep coming back. That's why Stacey Abrams doesn't go away.
Took the words out of my mouth.
That's why Beto O'Rourke doesn't go away in Texas. But when you lose as the president, when your campaign as president, vice president, the left leaves you alone so quickly.
Yeah.
Now, Kamala Harris is going to try and end up being governor of California, and we'll see how that plays out.
I can't imagine. It's California.
Well, you think about a name like, when was the last time you heard Tim Kaine?
It's been a minute. Today was the last time I heard.
Okay. You're going to think back and you're like, why does that name sound familiar?
Yeah,
well, that was Hillary's running mate.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. This is what happens. Once they lose, they're out. And so, essentially, Hillary has no more clout within that party. She's just that squawker that shows up on a television show every now and then, and you go, man, she's annoying. Because she's not a winner.
But Mike Pence is another that is, he's
gone by the wayside.
Just gone. But so it really kind of happens politically. If you lose in that realm, you're just out with your party. Because Mitt Romney, where's he?
Mitt Romney at least went and hung out and did his whole, I'm going to be a senator from Utah.
Right, but he no longer even pursues the presidency because he knows.
It's just, and again, you get some of these people that still go back. Tim Walz is still the governor of Minnesota. But as far as national clout,
done.
It's not there anymore.
Done. Absolutely done.
So I'm with you. If you take a bunch of these people and they're the ones who go to prison, all right, let's see. But
I like what Chris said.
I like what Chris said. Chris, you're welcome anytime. and so many of you who deep think this stuff. This is playing, in my opinion, political poker. Listen, I'll give up this hand. I'm going to win the next hand. And this particular situation, you might win by getting everybody but Obama.
That's the thing. You're winning the war. You may lose the battle. You lose the Obama battle.
I'm going to give up this, and I'm going to take the rest of y'all down.
I love the idea, Chris. I think it's great.
But if you get them all, too, I'm okay.
Yeah, look, yep.
now am I being greedy? But the political calculus says I'm probably going to pay for that.
That's right.
I think I will, but we'll see.
And I'm glad you pointed it out because I'll be honest. I was so seeing red after hearing all this stuff that it never even the political, when you brought up the mugshot, because I think that's the perfect example of the left thought they had him, they got the mugshot, and look what it did. Does that work the exact opposite way if you go get Obama? Now, and I think it's a well thought out idea.
Now let me tell you the next level of thinking. The next level of thinking, if you want to insulate yourself against all of this, if you want to take them all down, everybody, including Barack Obama. Now, Barack Obama, where does he have the most clout? It's not where it used to be, but it's still with Black America. Okay? It's still within the community. I tell you, if ever you get it where it's mainstream that he is not a straight man, you watch what changes.
Somebody needs to go rescue those papers.
What changes. And when that occurs, that community will go, what? And they'll be done with him.
Yeah.
And at that point, there is no real fallout. You know who you'll make upset?
Aunt Peg, angry
cat ladies,
white cat lady liberals. Yeah, no, that's right.
Non-masculine men. That's who you will upset. I can't believe that they're going after him. The community will be like, "Wow, you lied to us," because you hear what the community is saying now when we play some of this audio. They look at him as fraudulent. And why do you keep continuing to point out that men don't just need their dads, but they need an older gay mentor?
And we played a piece of audio earlier in the show, and we'll play it again at the very last segment of the show. And it is a young man. He looks to be probably mid-30s, clearly a father, and he addresses all of this, and he has had enough. He is fed up.
Because this is what Barack Obama was bringing up on the podcast.
Exactly right.
With Michelle Obama.
Yeah, he's fed up with all that stuff. He was like, I'm a father. My kid don't need another male. Especially a effeminate male. That's not what I'm looking for my kid. That's exactly what he said.
No, my son does not need an older man gay mentor.
Yeah, not at all. And so we'll play that at the end. There's a lot more because he uncovers it all. And it's funny because he refers to them as Mr. and Mr. Obama.
Mr. and Mr. Obama. It's starting to be, when it becomes part of the zeitgeist.
And it's getting close.
When it gets there. Because I still remember it's like 3 years ago when I told my wife we were going to Florida and she just looked at me like, you're crazy. 3 years later, it's getting into the zeitgeist. And if it really picks up steam, then by the time, if this administration does act against him, he'll have very few places to run to and hide where he'll have support.
First place I ever heard it, Joan Rivers.
Do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, that's the first time.
I love the oh my gosh.
Because the reporter's like, hang on, what'd you just say? I just landed the greatest piece of tape in my life. I'm going to put this on the internet and I'll make $1 million.
Oh
but that was the first time I'd ever heard it too. Oh. When she said that, I remember being almost like that reporter, like, wait, what did you say?
The only reason I ever paid attention to the times where you had interviewees who talked about having relations with Barack Obama when he was a state senator, the only time where I ever went, wait a minute, I got to go back and hear what they had to say, because I just thought that was tabloid craziness. It's just being out there. Okay, so the guy likes to party with drugs, and then these guys are trying to bilk him out of money. Then it turned into, what did Joan Rivers say?
She did not hold back. Everybody knows. She said, what did she say? Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
And then she went on to talk about
apparently
Michelle.
not.
Yeah, exactly. I guess the point is when you say when it becomes mainstream, dude, we're on the cusp of it being mainstream.
Once that occurs, then I think you can go guns a-blazing on this stuff in terms of not physically guns a-blazing or anything. What I'm saying is that if you decide you want to end the deep state in terms of what's happened over the last 25, 30 years, you can do it.
You got something? You had your mic
I was just going to say that if they're putting out videos now, if people are feeling comfortable about doing that, these conversations have been had behind closed doors for years.
I think you're 100% correct about that. Putting Tulsi Gabbard on the no-fly list, probably not a good idea. I'm thinking that it becomes very, very clear to me as to why that they were attacking Tulsi the way they were. Tulsi knew. She knew what was going on. She knew what Donald Trump was saying was correct. She said, treasonous conspiracy for a reason.
The implications of this are frankly nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team, quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election, that the American people had chosen Donald J. Trump to be the next president, commander-in-chief of the United States. And so they decided that they would do everything possible to try to undermine his ability to do what voters tasked President Trump to do.
If they don't arrest someone, then we will have failed. All of this has been for nothing. And I don't think Donald Trump is going to let it go. The reason I don't believe that is because they went to his house. Dude, there's just something sacred about coming into your house. Think about when you're home. Like, has your home ever been broken into? And just that helpless feeling that you have. It happened to me and my family one time. We came home from vacation, and our house had been broken into. They took a handful of things. There's probably some kids because it was PlayStations and computers and TVs. It wasn't. They didn't take the safe, which we have a tiny little safe. It's not even. I mean, you just keep cash in there and old coins. I mean, it's not even that special, right? But if you're a burglar, you know exactly what you're going for.
Well, they drugged the gators to get across the moat.
Let me tell you, and it worked.
And they turned off the alarm and the laser net.
Dude, it was amazing.
So,
how they accomplished it, I don't know.
I understand how you would feel violated.
Very violated. But you say that in jest, but let me tell you, my kid couldn't sleep for weeks.
Sure.
He was so scared. And it wasn't like the door was kicked in or the house was trashed. It wasn't any of those things. But he saw that police officer come to our house and talk to us about the Wii being taken and the laptop being taken. And it did something, to scare him to death. There's something about someone coming into your home that changes you. I'm not saying it changed you like a shot in Butler, Pennsylvania, but it certainly works on your psyche. These people are coming into my safe place, my home, where my kids live, where my wife lives. That's why I think Donald Trump is not going to let this go. This is not going to be political theater, or at least that's what I got my fingers crossed for.
I believe he's not going to just seek political retribution. He's got that. He won. He's in charge.
That's exactly right.
I know this is going to get personal in terms of the retribution.
Which is my point. Yes. That's exactly right.
And considering what he's been put through, this isn't just, all right, we're worthy opponents, and we're going to go up against you, and we're going to say bad things about you on television.
We're going to batter each other like a heavyweight
and we're going to go on the Sunday shows and say that your policies are wrong. This went so beyond the pale that I can see where now that he has the full scope of it and fully in charge with a bunch of people that are around him that are loyalists, I think he's fully like, I got 3.5 years to get y'all.
And I'm going to.
And I'm going to.
Tell me, there's nothing more personal than someone invading your home And they did that.
And again, he isn't having to seek re-election.
Right? So, dude, he can go guns a-blazing. He don't got to win another election.
And I think that's the part that's scaring his opponents.
Or it should be.
Because they've all gone radio silent. Like, think about this. When there was the announcement from 10 days ago, or at least the leak, and John Brennan went on to MSNBC to say, I have not been informed of any sort of investigation. If there is one, I have testified in front of Congress this many times. It's your cousin. It's Peeps. Like, there's nothing that have been said by these people. They've all gone to ground. I think they all know, oh my God, they do have it all. Like, they found all of it.
And if you recall, that was why they invaded Mar-a-Lago, because he knew, and they thought he had all of the Crossfire Hurricane paperwork at his home. Turns out he didn't. That was the crazy part. He didn't even have it.
So then it turned into, how do we prosecute him for stuff he's not supposed to have? He's a president. He's allowed to have anything he wants.
Photos, just photo shoots. That's all it was, a photo shoot, a photo op, putting top secret on top of boxes.
In fact, as they're knocking on his door, he could wave a magic wand and say, I deem this all to be unclassified.
And it would be. Dude, it was so manufactured, to use Tulsi Gabbard's word. It's like you pulling up Microsoft Word right now and printing top secret on a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and laying it on top of a box. That's how official those. You go look at the photos. You can see it.
I think that's really smart of you. The idea that they did it to his house is why I don't think he's going to stop either.
That's exactly right, dude. I'm telling you. The 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. When we come back, the left is still trying to anchor Trump with Epstein. Next on Extra.
If you love 106.3, then you'll love the all-new Extra 106.3 app. It's loaded with replays of your favorite shows like the Morning Extra and the Kimmer Show, podcasts from conservative voices across the South, and access to Extra's crystal clear live stream from anywhere in Georgia. Grab it now for Apple or Android.
Good morning, it's Los. Let's talk about Tom, the honest car guy. You can always check him out, honestcarguy.com. Here's how this works. You decide what make and what vehicle that you want. Make and model. That's what you decide. You bring that to Tom. You give him a call, 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1. Or you can fill out the information at honestcarguy.com. He's going to get in touch with you. And at that point, the game is afoot. Okay, Tom is going to go find that vehicle and a multitude of places all around the country and now start giving you options. Here's what it costs here. Here's what these features are here. Which one would you be interested in? Now, he's purchased vehicles for other people. It's taken 15 minutes. He's also, if you're willing, hey, if you want to spend a couple hours doing this process with him on the computer, he'll do that with you as well. Either way, he and his team will get you taken care of. Now, here's the wild part. You're going to start to recognize how many times fees are tacked on when you buy through a traditional dealership. You don't worry about that with Tom. Basically, it's here's what the car costs, here's what we're going to purchase it for, that's what you're purchasing it for. Then you just owe him the Honest Car Guy fee. And that's when you're going to recognize how many thousands of dollars that you've saved in this transaction. I'm in the situation now. I got my 14-year-old soon to be 15. That's going to be learner's permit. That's going to have to be adding another vehicle to the home. We'll be doing it with Tom over at honestcarguy.com. 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. This week's guest is Ken Ashley, chairman of the Fulton County Sheriff's Foundation. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Hey, it's Front Office Los for True Prep. Thinking about buying a firearm for home defense or personal safety, but don't know where to start? Start with True Prep. We're a family-owned store focused on education, safety, and community. Our Firearm Fundamentals for First-Time Buyers workshop has been so popular, we've added new dates, August 3rd and August 24th, to meet the demand. Learn about the purchasing process, gun safety, selecting the right gun, and more. Visit TruePrep.com. That's TRUPrep.com to sign up today.
Kimmer here. You know, there's a lot of companies out there talking about windows and siding. Well, let me narrow the list for you. Peach State Windows. I first worked with Jeff, the owner, and his wife 25 years ago. Family business, top-grade, energy-efficient windows, custom fit perfectly, deals on siding. Oh, my, like I had Hardy Plank to be just right for your home. Peach State Windows, but so much more. Roof issues? No problem. How about entry doors? Yup, their pros make those just right, too. Financing? No money down. 770-485-8011 or peachstatewindows.com.
Upgrade your summer adventures with the help of Jim Ellis Chevrolet. Right now, save $11,188 off MSRP on a truck that brings the heat.
The 2025 Silverado 1500 RST from Jim Ellis Chevrolet.
This truck is built to move you. And with over 30 in stock at $11,000 off MSRP, your next adventure doesn't have to wait.
Visit Jim Ellis Chevrolet today for a buying experience that's quick, easy, and completely transparent.
Get started at JimEllisChevrolet.com and use the Jim Ellis Expressway to start or complete your entire purchase online.
Schedule an at-home test drive, complete all paperwork electronically, and enjoy the benefits of an at-home delivery.
Or visit Jim Ellis Chevy on Peachtree Boulevard just inside the perimeter. Jim Ellis Chevrolet, together let's drive. 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 RST, example stock number T15197, MSRP $56,350. After $11,188 in Jim Ellis discount, sale price is $45,162, excludes TABT and state fees. Expires 7/31/25.
This is Window Nation, your source for affordable replacement windows at the highest quality. So if your old windows have you boiling in the summer and freezing in the winter, you need the pros at Window Nation with installation precision and experience that are second to none. Their custom windows are guaranteed to be a perfect fit, and they're backed by the best warranty in the industry. Go to getwindownation.com or call 866-90NATION for your free estimate. And for a limited time, get 50% off all window styles, plus pay no interest for 5 years.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, July 21st. Cobb County Schools voted to approve a policy change to school board meetings. Public comments made during the meetings will no longer be broadcast. Cobb Superintendent David Chastain defended the measure, saying the district took on the risk of legal copyright challenges to some comments made from the public in recent years. Chastain says the new policy will allow meetings to be more efficient and focused on school and student issues. Georgia state law does not require school board meetings to be broadcast. 12 suspected child predators were arrested during Operation Phantom Whisper in Cherokee County. Federal, state, and local law enforcement worked together, posing online as an underage girl. The suspects were then arrested at different locations where meetups were arranged. Officials urged parents to be cautious of their children's online activities. And the remains of a Korean War veteran were laid to rest in Georgia after 75 years of being marked as an unknown soldier. Army Corporal Anthony Conzi was identified by DNA earlier this year. He was given a ceremony with full military honors in Cherokee County on Friday. Today's weather, partly cloudy and very hot with isolated thunderstorms this afternoon. Temperatures will reach the mid-90s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. I don't know if you saw it over the weekend. Coldplay was playing a show in Madison, Wisconsin. And then after the Kiss Cam scandal in Boston, they did put up a warning saying, hey, we're going to pan around and, put people on camera. So if you're cheating, you probably should not hold on to one each other right now. Maybe just wait a little while because we are panning with the Kiss Cam. So just so you know. Just so you know.
Going to let you know ahead of time.
Oh,
so we don't get caught up in a global piece of comedy.
Did you see all the people that were jumping on that? The Phillies, they had the Philly Fanatic and the lady Philly Fanatic, whatever she is, and they were holding on to one another, and the cam comes up, and then they do the split. Morgan Wallen's concert, he had an announcement. He was like, look, if y'all cheating, don't do it right now. We got the camera going around. So many country artists did it over the weekend. It was just everywhere. You couldn't miss it.
It's just part of now the culture at concerts and also at games, because baseball games all around the country.
Yeah.
it was always the last one. Here's what we're doing.
Exactly.
It was either you got it or you didn't.
Yeah, right. And most people I feel like got it just because that story exploded so hard. It was. Matter of fact, I was watching the Braves game and they showed the Kiss Cam on TV. And they were playing a Coldplay song behind it, so they didn't.
The little hint.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't go all in, but they wanted you to know. Yes, we know too.
I call that working like a hummingbird.
Yeah,
you either got it or you didn't. The joke either made sense to you. You didn't have to explain it. You either got it or you didn't.
That's right. Oh man, when will it die? Who knows? Maybe never.
We got a few weeks.
Yeah, it'll be around for a little bit.
I love the AI videos that people were making. I even saw one with Trump with his arms around Hillary.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. How could it be so?
No, you caught us.
Yeah.
Oh no.
This is the worst news ever. But there is a story that is taking a back seat. The Coldplay Kiss Cam not taking it back. It was front and center. But that Epstein story, that's taking a back seat.
Let me get this straight. The left continues to push that Donald Trump had a relationship with Epstein. The Wall Street Journal releases an article on Thursday evening, pointing out that he wrote him a birthday card that went into a compilation of a book that he had for his birthday. And then they hid it behind a paywall, and they also wouldn't show you the actual letter.
Right.
They just showed you a couple things that were in there, and it read like a really bad sonnet. It was the strangest deal, to the point where Donald Trump, within 24 hours, is now suing the Wall Street Journal and the parent company and Rupert Murdoch.
I'll only say he has a pretty good track record of winning those lawsuits.
Keeps winning those. You say anything else about him, yeah, okay, you got that. Not a problem. If you, in any way, try and defame in a way that he can prove, hey, listen, I didn't have anything to do with that, then you're going to pay him. All right. So that is pretty much their angle right now. We're going to try and make him look out to be friends with Epstein. Now, what does that mean in the big scheme of things? Nothing. As Alan Dershowitz had pointed out, who was Epstein's attorney, the reason why they have decided that they are going to look to, and again, it's up to a judge, to unseal the documents they want to unseal, the grand jury testimony. Alan Dershowitz has pointed out, nobody's in there. And the people that are in there are not even in office. So this is the game right now that the left's trying to play. Like, this is more important than it really should be. And if his name showed up as Donald Trump had an association with Epstein, all right, now what?
Nothing.
What are we supposed to do now?
Nothing. Especially when you...
Bill Clinton had a relationship with Epstein. All right.
Yeah, we know.
Bill Gates has a relationship with Epstein. Okay.
Yeah, we know. The other thing is, juxtapose that, compare that to what just dropped with Barack Obama knowingly taking manufactured intel to prosecute his political enemy. That's what you're up against. If you're trying to still fan the Epstein flames like they are, you gotta overcome that.
On one hand, Tug, if my argument is Trump had a relationship with Epstein, maybe they were even friends.
Oh my.
Verse Barack Obama committed treason.
Dude, one doesn't even...
These do not equate to one another. These do not play this. So I want to play this from Amy Klobuchar over the weekend. She was asked, again, the most obvious question that can be asked to any Democrat. Now that you're claiming, here's the smoking gun, you've had this in your possession now. And it would have been for the better part of, since 2017, you would have had it in your possession for 5 years. And your most important possession, you never used against Donald Trump. When you were trying to end Donald Trump, when you were trying to make it a point that he cannot be elected, you were removing him from ballots. Okay? You were removing the man from ballots in a multitude of states. You were calling him an insurrectionist. You mugshotted the guy, but yet you didn't use the fact that you had all this information on him and Epstein. Take a listen to Klobuchar.
But it's true that the president says there, Democrats didn't really seem to do anything about the Epstein files throughout the 4 years of the Biden administration. I mean, should you have? You sit on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator Marsha Blackburn for years has been trying to get flight records and other information about Epstein released, and she seems to have been the only one on that committee trying to do so.
So the president blaming Democrats for this disaster, Jake, is like that CEO that got caught on camera blaming Coldplay, okay? Like, this is his making.
Oh, I had no idea that's what she was going to bring up when I brought it up earlier.
Now, consider, just ponder this a little bit. She had been prepped with a line in order to deflect.
Oh, yeah.
That was meant to deflect that they had this information the entire time, and because it was not going to be advantageous to them, they never used it. In fact, it wasn't going to be damning enough to Donald Trump. What they've now created, as Trump has pointed out, you've created essentially a hoax and associated him with it. And that's now their weapon. That's almost like a fighter with both hands tied behind their back, threatening you with their right. I'm going to hit you with the right. You watch out. It's coming. It's coming. I'm going to hit you with this right.
I'm coming down with the hammer.
Really?
Not really.
What are you punching me with?
Yeah.
You got nothing.
You got nothing, dude. You got nothing.
You got nothing.
Yet on your side, you got the potential of treason.
Yes. On by the way, on my end of the boxing ring, I got a couple of cement hands left and right, and one of them says treason, and the other one says prison.
Or even death penalty.
Which one you want?
Goodness gracious. That is a...
Which one's going to catch you?
Well, it should be very obvious to you. And I think it is to most people, especially you listening right now. You know.
You see how flimsy that sounds?
But it always is. That's when they come to the ring. We'll use the ring since you were just talking about it. Their arguments are always flimsy. There's never anything in there that has substance because they don't have substance.
That was a Jake Tapper question about why, if you've had this for this long, why have you never used it? And as Amy Klobuchar points out, well, this disaster, it's like blaming, and then she went to the stuff of the day. It's like, why don't you just say, even Jamie Raskin last week, he's like, well, we were busy. Oh, really?
You had to come up with something.
My dog ate the homework.
Yeah, that's right. We had to come up with something.
That's why you didn't use this?
But that's, at least it's an answer. It looks better than Amy Klobuchar.
Busy.
It's better than Amy Klobuchar. What does she have?
I think the honest answer would be we would have burned.
Nothing to it.
Well, nothing to it. And the people that would get burned, again, this is Alan Dershowitz, according to the person who represented Epstein in this case. The people that would be hurt by this are not in office, and you would have had people that would have been named without any proof that they didn't. It would have been through association. And it doesn't help the left to associate, let's say, for instance, completely hypothetical, allegedly, Bill Gates, one of their primary donors to this.
It'd be like sinking a George Soros ship because they know that's where the money comes from.
Why?
We can't do that. Why would we do that?
Especially now that
we burn him.
Now that USAID is out of the game, the primary person who is now taking care of the NGOs is Bill Gates. Why would you burn Bill Gates? This is what they're hoping. This is why this is a moment where if there was a better example, I don't know if there one is. Like, they came over with a slingshot, and Donald Trump has a nuclear weapon.
That's right.
It's like
good comparison.
That's what it came down to last week. Oh, we got this Epstein information. All right, I got treason on my side.
And the Epstein information turned out to be nothing because they couldn't even provide, like, their big piece of evidence.
Here's a letter.
Something that they wouldn't even share with you.
They wouldn't even share it with you.
So they had nothing.
Here's what we have.
Today they have nothing except for the possibility of treason. Now that's something that we all want to see pursued. I even think, I can't say the Democrats because I'd be wrong. I would like to think Democrats would care enough.
But even on our side, you know it's not part of the game here.
Yeah.
But even on our side, we have so many people that tied themselves to this Epstein stuff. They're the only ones that are keeping it alive. I'm the one who told you for the better part of 2 weeks, this is a nothing burger. And then we saw what was happening with the polling. His base was getting more and more behind him because they are used to this stuff.
They know that they're going to throw anything against him, and it doesn't have to be true.
And if you want to say that because I don't believe at any point that cultish behavior is on our side. It's not. I know it's certainly on their side. Their entire plan has always been we can separate him from his voters. Well, if they're a cult, you can't. But if there's one thing that always solidifies the voters behind him, and I put this on Twitter, people had a problem with this one as well, but it's true. Anytime you try and come up with any tabloid or silly stories like this, it reinforces behind him to the point where even if you were to be like, here's a video of Donald Trump doing this on Epstein Island, everyone's going to go Shaggy. It's not him.
Yeah.
It could be him, but you've done this so much that you've conditioned the voters to be like, that ain't him.
And even on the other side, they're going to be skeptical too because they've seen you tell them. I'm talking to the Democrat voters. They've seen you tell them.
We're going to get him this time.
We got him this time.
Robert Mueller's got him.
That's right. He's dead to rights. He's dead. We got the mugshot. We've got 34 felony. And every time they're like, yay, this is great.
This is the one.
And then the house of cards falls down. So I would even contend they don't believe it.
At this point, I mean, your viewership, we've gone through the numbers.
Prove that they don't believe it.
The viewership is not there.
Stephen Colbert will prove. That's just another example.
When you're losing $40 million a year because people no longer go to you as it. First off, you're supposed to go to him for laughs.
Right.
But when it turned into punditry, and now it's so one-sided that, okay, how do you lose this much audience? How do you create an unsuccessful program with 200 people working on it? This is on you, Colbert. Like, you're going to cost 200 people their jobs because you couldn't let it go. You couldn't stop being Keith Olbermann.
And yet the Democrats, the left, they keep blaming Donald Trump for Colbert getting fired.
Yeah, imagine.
That's the biggest stretch of them all.
Imagine that. Donald Trump was like, you know what you need to do? You need to get rid of this late-night guy.
Yeah, the one that nobody watches. What about that? We must get rid of him.
I'm busy trying.
He's first on the list.
I'm busy trying to stop war in Ukraine with the Russians. But before then, we have to get rid of Colbert. Did you realize how crazy cat lady psycho you have to sound to say stuff like that?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
I'm looking to win this trade war with the Chinese. But before we do that,
make sure Colbert's gone.
Make sure Colbert is out.
Just look at the influence he has.
He's losing $40 million a year and audience, but he must be gone for us to move forward with our agenda.
He's the one. No, not Kimmel. Colbert. No, not Fallon. No, go get Colbert. He's the one. Just absurd.
You have to mentally stretch for some of this stuff.
You have to do mental Olympics to get through, to make that your message. Leslie Stahl was a participant in the treasonous activity. Knowingly or not, she was. Next on Xtra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, July 21st. The Atlanta Braves came out of the All-Star break by dropping 2 of 3 over the weekend to the New York Yankees at Truist Park, including a 4-2 loss yesterday afternoon. Tonight, the San Francisco Giants come to town to open up a 3-game series. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear the game action live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. As for the Major League Baseball trade deadline, that is coming up on July 31st. Scotty Scheffler is the Open champion, winning the tournament by 4 strokes over Harris English. Scheffler is the #1 ranked player in the world. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Hey, Atlanta's Mark from the Safe House. I have a question for you. Am I the only person pissed off with the mainstream fake news, liberal judges,
and whiny liberal politicians
who don't realize why Donald Trump is president, and fake safes? And you may wonder, why fake safes? Well, a fake safe is like Joe Biden, cheap and ineffective. A real safe from the Atlanta Safe House is like Donald Trump, tough, effective, and provides peace of mind when you need it the most. So drop by Atlanta Safe House and check out the largest selection of safes in the Southeast and see what a real safe looks like. So go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Retirement components look different for everyone because everyone is unique, but there are major components everyone needs in their retirement. So, Coach Pete, what are things that need to be covered with everyone?
The 4 main things we go over: retirement planning. Everyone needs a retirement plan. We're all going to retire eventually. We need to make sure our money's waiting for us when we get there instead of us waiting for our money. And then we need asset allocation and investment guidance. In other words, where is your money? Why is it there? And should it stay there? Or when do we move it around every now and then? Or should we move it? Is it a good time to move it now? Then tax planning. Nothing in writing that says you have to overpay. When you're in retirement, you want taxes in your favor, not against you. And then estate, succession, legacy planning.
For a complete retirement review, comprehensive and customized, call Coach Pete's local trusted advisor, Craig Chandler of Chandler Wealth Management. 800-419-6164. 800-419-6164. Again, 800-419-6164.
Are you the type of consumer that likes to do your research before you choose a company? Well, then you need to join Dan Watkins, Chris Lolamy, and myself, Jim Niarchos, every Saturday morning at 9 for the All Four Seasons Home Show. We only vet local businesses with a proven history of integrity, competence, and solid customer service. The All Four Seasons Home Show helps you make a good consumer decision, save money, and not get ripped off. You can also follow our podcasts on Apple, Google, and Spotify. The All Four Seasons Home Show, Saturday mornings at 9, right here on Extra 106.3.
Make going back to school a little more fun as the Brewers and Marlins come to Truist Park August 4th through the 10th. The week includes the Ronaldo Lopez bobblehead giveaway presented by Coca-Cola, followed by the Ronald Acuna Jr. Funko Pop giveaway presented by Xfinity. Then head into the weekend series where it's all about the kids, including Kids Club Day on August 9th, plus 2 Kids Gate giveaways featuring the Chris Sale Triple Crown and the Kids Sliding Mitt. And the second half of August is even more stacked, with more fun as the White Sox and division rival Mets battle the Braves August 18th through the 24th. Fans can look forward to 3 giveaways, including the 1995 World Series replica ring presented by Coca-Cola on Alumni Night, which will celebrate the 30th anniversary of the World Series title, a camo rope hat presented by Realtree as part of the hunting and fishing night at Truist Park, and more. Tickets start at just $10, so get yours today at Braves.com/promos. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
You have a lot of choices for cell phone service, with the new ones popping up all the time. But here's the truth. There's only one that boldly stands in the gap for Americans that believe that freedom is worth fighting for, and that is Patriot Mobile. The good news is you can switch to Patriot Mobile today without sacrificing quality or service. You're worried about coverage? Don't be. Patriot Mobile uses all 3 major U.S. networks. If you have service already, you're going to have as good or better coverage with Patriot Mobile. You think switching is a hassle? It's not. You can keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Patriot Mobile's 100% U.S.-based team is going to get you activated in minutes, and you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Stuck in a contract or owe money on your phones? Don't worry. Patriot Mobile has contract buyout program. This is how we win. By aligning our spending with our values. Every dollar we spend matters. Go to patriotmobile.com/Beck or call 972-PATRIOT. Promo code Beck and get a free month of service. Switch today. patriotmobile.com/Beck or 972-PATRIOT.
Promises made, promises kept. The president is making the economy great again. He's securing the border for America's safety, and the mainstream media still wants to tear him down.
The media wants Donald Trump to fail. That's their goal. That's how they'll report his progress.
But we know the truth, and we give you the perspective that other stations won't. Atlanta's only conservative voice is Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. It is there and available for you to take with you wherever you go. It's so easy. Whatever you use, Apple or Android, it's available there for you. Again, download the Extra 106.3 app whenever you have a moment. But if you're at 106.3 FM, 1230 AM, just fine. That works perfectly too. You just can't go back and listen to the show that you might have missed, like some of the content this morning, some of the conversations about why Donald Trump may follow through with this prosecution. It won't be political theater. It won't be, hey, I'm just doing this to score political points. It means more to him. Find out why. We talked about that about an hour ago here on Extra 106.3. Front Office Los doing a story time, which was absolutely incredible. If you missed story time this morning, you'll want to go back and listen to that at 7:25, and make sure you got a pen and piece of paper to take some notes.
We got into Trump versus the United States, the ruling that came out on July 1st, 2024, and when it came to the Supreme Court, what their limits were on presidential immunity, which is almost complete with the exception of when you start getting into unofficial acts. And so if you want to know kind of that background, when you hear people say, well, Barack Obama's fine, he's got presidential immunity. Not in this case. So, again, if you want to go back and check it out, 7:25 this morning.
That's the ability you have if you download the Extra 106.3 apps. Why it's so important to have. You can listen live and on demand at your convenience. Which, I mean, these days, everything's at your convenience. If you want to watch a TV show, what do? You just flip it on. You watch it at your convenience whenever you can. Like I started Welcome to Wrexham this weekend.
Finally,
and fell in love with it. It's been fantastic.
Begging you for this long of time, at least 6 months.
And finally, my wife goes, because she's just like, I'm just not interested. I'm okay.
And she loved Ted Lasso.
Which is so funny, because this is like a real life Ted Lasso. That's how good it is. It is so good. She had a hair appointment this weekend, so I had 2 hours. Me and the dog sat there on the couch and watched Welcome to Wrexham. I got through 4 episodes.
Hey, buddy, we're going to watch Wrexham now.
Come on. He was like, as long as you pet me on my head, I don't care. You got a treat for me, and that's even better. And as a matter of fact, speaking of the dog, this is way off the rails. I picked up a new skill this weekend that I didn't realize I had. I could be marketable with this skill. Like if this radio thing ever comes to an end, which I guess at some point it will. I cut my dog's hair. He's a schnauzer.
Okay.
Because it's $80 to go, before tip, $80 to go get his hair cut. The problem is he bites everybody that tries to cut his hair. And so he got reported to, I guess, the city of Alpharetta.
So now you can't go take him into these places.
They actually went to the city for that?
Yeah.
They're supposed to. If the dog bites during that period, then they're supposed to inform locality.
And they let us know, hey, by the way, we reported your dog. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Let me tell you. She was like, it wasn't bad. It just slightly broke the skin. I was like, okay, all right. So I don't know where that leads us, but it did make me go, we can't continue to take the dog. And he's the sweetest dog in the world. But anyway, so I watched me a YouTube video on how to do a schnauzer haircut. And it actually turned out all right.
Good for you.
I have a new skill. I didn't realize that. And
now
let me tell you,
take care of that whenever you want.
I was nervous because, there was a couple times he was unhappy.
I'm going to take my dog to you.
Okay, I can do it.
And then I'm going to tell my wife, hey, this is from Tug's Cuts.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, I'm telling you.
And I know she looks a little bit awkward, but it was a quality price. Oh, it's a good-looking dog.
That's what I did.
Nice, good job.
He was trade in that bright red truck and get a van.
Get a van.
Floppy ears.
Straight out of Dumb and Dumber.
That's right. And I'll come to your house.
That's funny.
Yeah, dude. It took me about an hour to do, and but it turned out well. I was really happy with it. Couldn't believe. I thought for sure we would have to take him somewhere to get it fixed. You know how kids get a bad haircut and you have to take them. Somebody's got to go fix this. I was sure that was what was going to happen, but it turned out okay. So that whatever device, whatever company, I don't even know, that my wife bought, it was just from Amazon, but that equipment, it was $80. So I basically paid.
You already saved.
I already saved $20 just by doing it myself.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I'm going to continue doing that. That way we don't get our dog taken away and have him put to sleep for biting people.
Did you give him the bubblegum cologne? Or the shampoo?
No, I didn't know. Lavender is what it is. That's what Lauren bought, the lavender. But anyway, so with all this treason talk, it makes you wonder, at least it makes me wonder, how many of the people in the media knew exactly what was going on and reported it anyway because they believed in the cause?
The date was October 20th, 2020. The air date was October 25th, 2020. The election was 8 days away. This was Donald Trump with Leslie Stahl. And now to go back and listen to it. Again, air date, October 25th, 2020. Election was 8 days away. And Donald Trump is telling you what had occurred. Then this is that famous moment where you wonder how much that the media had just bought into it because, as we talked about it, this was cooked up in 2016. By the time Donald Trump is in office into 2017, here's the plan for Russian collusion that we will use to spy on him. Take a listen.
Him walk out of a store, and he's walking with an ice cream. And the question the media asks him, what kind of ice cream? What flavor ice cream do you have? And he's in the midst of a scandal.
He's not.
And he's taking
He's
of course
not.
he is,
No,
Leslie.
come on.
Of course he is. It's the biggest, second biggest scandal.
So-
the biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my
Well,
campaign.
there's no
Leslie.
real evidence of that.
Of course there is. It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't
No,
verify.
you won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't
Look, let
put
me tell
on
you.
things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify
It's been totally
that.
verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie, and you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
No. Is she the useful idiot, or is she a cog in the wheel? That's the question that I have.
8 days before the election. And right then, we're right in the middle of the Biden laptop, which you then had, again, another conspiracy. And when I say conspiracy, as in criminal acts involving a number of people, not, I think they did this.
Yeah, right.
No, a criminal conspiracy to band together with the intelligence community to have people sign on to a document to give, it wasn't me, they quoted and called Joe Biden the vegetable. They had to give the vegetable cover for the debate and what was going to happen. And so that's Donald Trump pointing out, here's a couple of different things that they were involved in and had been involved in since the very start of his term.
I have no doubt that some in the media, and I don't know who per se, but there's not a bit of me that doesn't believe those in the media knew exactly what was happening and were just fine with it. Was it Leslie Stahl? I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. If you told me today that she knew everything, it wouldn't shock me. I don't know if she did or not. Maybe she was the useful idiot, but she was one of the two.
That's still the same 60 Minutes that had to pay Donald Trump for altering a Kamala Harris interview to make her look like she was more intelligent and more informed on the topic matter.
So you make your own mind up. Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3 when we come back after a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update. Donald Trump set ESPN ablaze. Goodness, you should have seen the notifications going off on my phone, and I'm sure they went off on your phone when Trump said this about a team, or a couple of them. Next on Extra.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
Well, I'm guessing by now you know that Trump has pulled funding for NPR and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, over $1 billion. Oh, they've killed Big Bird. No, Big Bird is not owned by public so-called TV. It's Disney. There is no excuse for seizing money earned by American workers, money that could be spent on housing, shelter, food, clothing, whatever, and sending that money off to broadcasters to indoctrinate the American people. Oh, indoctrinate? Well, that brings me to this. Catherine Mayer is the CEO of NPR, and an evil Republican went online to research Catherine Mayer's tweets over the years. You want to hear some of them? Well, you've come to the right place. How about this? I'm so done with late-stage capitalism. Or, America is addicted to white supremacy. Try this one. I do wish Hillary wouldn't use the language of boy and girl. It's erasing language for non-binary people. Oh yeah, no left-wing bias at NPR, is there? A few more tweets. Oh, I'm grateful for those who have pointed out my phrasing could be understood as trans erasure. And how about this? What is the deranged racist sociopath ranting about today? I truly don't understand. The sociopath she's talking about? Donald Trump, the CEO of NPR, calls him a deranged racist sociopath. Now they're not going to receive any more taxpayer funds. Gotta love it. Almost as much as Stephen Colbert being canceled. Neil Bortz Extra, 106.3.
The Kimmer Show is only on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
A leading report tweets Planned Parenthood set to lose close to $1 billion in taxpayer funds, and nearly 200 facilities face closure. To which Aristotle replies, "It's just a clump of dollars."
Clump of a clump of cells, yeah.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
It's Harvard versus President Trump. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The university's lawsuit, trying to get nearly $3 billion in frozen federal funding restored, gets a hearing in Boston today.
Harvard argues the administration's demands that it eliminate its diversity programs and discipline pro-Palestinian groups are unconstitutional. The Trump administration believes it shouldn't have to fund schools that fail to adequately handle anti-Semitism on campus.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. President Trump is marking 6 months back in office, posting on Truth Social that he's revived the U.S. into the hottest country in the world, while his administration considers taking legal action over his first election back in 2016 in what he calls the Russia hoax, investigating his campaign over alleged ties to Russian influence. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard tells Fox they'll consider prosecuting ex-Obama administration members.
We are referring all of our documents to the Department of Justice for the purpose of accountability and action. No one, no matter who they are, no matter how high up they are.
Gabbard says declassified documents show in the days leading up to the November 2016 election, intelligence officials consistently stated Russia is probably not trying nor had the capability to influence the election by using cyber means. Things change after the election, she says. But Democrats say Gabbard is conflating hacking and influencing.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera at the White House. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is visiting a wounded Border Patrol agent at a New York City hospital this morning after he was shot and wounded during a robbery attempt Saturday night. He returned fire, wounding the suspected robber, an illegal immigrant who could face attempted murder charges. Mayor Eric Adams says,
"We have to be quick and swift to deal with those who believe they're going to inflict violence."
It's up to at least 19 people dead in Bangladesh, where a fighter jet on a training mission crashed into a school campus and burst into flames. At least 100 others were injured. America's listening to Fox News.
After joining the United States Army, Thomas Kennedy served 2 tours of duty in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan. But sadly, this soldier's life was tragically cut short. Thomas was killed by a Taliban suicide bomber in Afghanistan. He left behind his wife Cammie and their beautiful twins Maggie and Brody. Tunnel to Towers provided the Kennedy family with a mortgage-free home. Families like the Kennedys need your help. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords, VPN. But as much as you try to be in control of how your information is protected, there's lots of places that also have it. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every single second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock specialist is going to help solve the identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code Beck at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
What do you say to anyone who still doesn't understand America First? Tell the left now at 404-741-1230 on the Morning Extra.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3 at Best Way to Listen. We appreciate you being here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms.
Actually, we were informed that we're till 9:30, but we decided, Tug and I and Jeray, we're going to give you a bonus half hour to get you to 10.
What do you say?
As a thank you.
You don't get that anywhere else.
No. I mean, how often does somebody say, I'm going to give you 50%, 100% more?
What do you think? I'm going to tell you, I think it's a wonderful idea. I'm glad. And I was the holdout, I'll admit. I was the one holdout saying, hey, man, if we're done at 9:30, let's just be done at 9:30. And Los and Jeray were like, nope, we're going all the way.
It's been about 2.5 years since we had handful of listeners who started going to management and saying, why don't you let us have like a full 4 hours?
Mm-hmm.
And we were saying, no, 3 is good.
And it is.
3 is perfect.
And it is.
And then before we knew it, they went to 4. And now when it comes to those particular people, I'm not saying you're not in the club, and I'm glad some of you are even in the 4-hour club, but there is a mark on you.
That's right. It's a slight stain.
There's a check mark next to your name of, I like you, but we got a little issue here.
Yeah, that's right. You're the reason. You're the reason that we're
It's
doing
almost like you told my kid where they sell ponies.
Oh.
And then I had to go buy said pony.
Ooh, Lord, that's terrible news. That's what it is.
It's like you cost me a little something.
You did.
But I appreciate why you did it.
Yes, all right.
But you got a check mark next to your
That's
name.
right.
Here, got you.
You're like the teacher at school when they're like, dirty mouth Johnny. We know who's causing the problem.
Listen, you're an A student, but check mark next to your name.
So if you want to remove that check mark, call and say we should reduce the by an hour. If you want to remove the check mark.
We'll give you back that half hour.
I kid completely. I do want to get to at some point in this hour what blew up the notifications on my phone this weekend. ESPN blew up my phone. And we'll talk about why that happened. And yes, it's to do with Donald Trump. But I want to get to something that has been the lead topic all day long, as it should be. Yes, it does appear that everything that you thought was true, that Barack Obama led this charge to lead a multiple years and years long coup against Donald Trump when he was elected in 2016. But where does that lead you to? And if we're lucky, Los, it could end one major problem that we've had for going on, 9, 10 years, 11 years.
Might be in a situation where everything tied into what has been I guess it's been the rocket fuel for the left for a decade.
Yes.
What if that completely went away? What if we could make it part of the general understanding that what has spurred you on since 2016 never actually existed? Or at least was never real.
I'm thinking that most people, when they hear the fact that the deep state is real, I think most people listening to this station would know that.
So what exactly is the deep state?
And if you lay it out, it is that just the people that are elected into federal office, and then the people that they hire underneath them that are there way past the presidency or the Senate term,
that are aligned politically and believe that they run Washington
and they know better than you,
and they run the country,
and your vote doesn't count. Your vote doesn't matter.
Yes, you're temporary. I know you won your Senate race, but we're the ones in charge here. There's an interesting book, and I believe it's The Puppeteers, and it goes into how largely even those that hold a lot of power who've been in Congress and the Senate for a long time, it's their staff and it's the deep state. Those are the real power players. The politician is just echoing what needs to be echoed. They're saying what needs to be said. But it is staff and that deep state, the people that have been there that know, I got 30 years here if I want to. And I'm going to execute with the direction of this country according to my politics.
And the people, and according to the people that brought me in to do this. Because, yes, like a Barack Obama, temporary, 4 years, 8 years. Turned out to be 8 for him, but for Joe Biden, 4 years. But those people that still work in the guts of the government in Washington, D.C., which Trump has opened fire on, figuratively, of course. He's started this campaign to dismantle the deep state, to pull the deep state apart. And that starts with taking away funding, USAID being the most, the most brazen of the funding for, because that got kicked back to everybody. That was going to Democrats to get them elected, and that was going all over the world, sort of. But 10% of it probably going on, but it all came back to them, and they knew it.
I think it was J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio who pointed out that for every dollar it was somewhere between 6 and 8 cents were actually making it to the organizations that it was assigned to.
Think about that. Less than 10%.
So it was a tiny amount. And by the way, Jason Chaffetz, that was the book. I think I got into this book 5 years ago. And it's called The Puppeteers, the people who control America.
Mm-hmm. Such a great description.
That's the description. And on the front, it does have nothing but a bunch of Democrat politicians, and they're all on strings. Now, again, these people do exist on the right as well, but that's the deep state. This is a possibility of ending this process that has been alive since probably the 1950s. When we talked about the rise of the military-industrial complex, that was also where the deep state, as an intelligence apparatus, started to grow and grow and grow. And so this entire deal, when it comes to Russian collusion and treason, this is your chance to eradicate or greatly hinder or hurt the deep state to where at least it won't hold the sort of power that it has in this country for the better part of 50 years.
And those bad actors still exist in the intel community to this day, those same ones that created and launched the Russia hoax, that covered up Hunter Biden's laptop, said, it's Russian disinformation, it's not real. Those same people are still employed inside of Washington, D.C., and inside the CIA, inside the FBI, inside ODNI. And that's why it was so important that Tulsi Gabbard came out and said, this is what we have. We're declassifying all the information that will show you what Hillary Clinton did to create the Russia hoax, what Barack Obama did, knowing that it wasn't real, what Brennan did, knowing it wasn't real. His notes from the meeting said Hillary Clinton's campaign is creating something to stir up the election. They all knew it wasn't real. They literally took a president's daily brief back before they gave it to the president, inserted nonsense, and then handed it to him as if it were real.
And then James Comey, again, as part of this cabal, briefs the president on this information, tells him there's nothing here, we're not concerned about it, but then leaks it in order to then create the investigation, the FISA warrants, in order to be spied on. Like, this is one big dirty game. And if you want to talk about unofficial acts versus official acts, presidential immunity, according to what, again, the Supreme Court wrote about this is exactly what falls under the area of unofficial acts. This was something that was done not in any sort of interest of America. This was done strictly to disparage and to hurt an incoming president.
And hurt the United States of America, because what you had voted for was going to be cut out at the knees. They weren't going to be able to accomplish the goals that you voted for them to get done.
And where did we start here? We started by talking about the deep state and the mentality. We know better. We run this. We're the ones in charge. You have to have that mentality to have an incoming president and say, no, we got this. In fact, we got to make sure we get rid of you as quickly as possible so things can go back to the normal.
When you think about those establishment Republicans and the Uniparty, that's who they all operate underneath, because they all feel the exact same way. Trump was the outsider saying, I'm going to shake this up. I don't need any of y'all. Y'all didn't make me. Y'all can't break me. They've tried. And you know what? He's proven that he is exactly right. They couldn't break him. They tried to hang him with 34 felonies. They tried to arrest him. They gave him the mugshot. They did everything that they could possibly do. Unfortunately, the truth matters, and the truth continues to come out, and it's being laid out so everybody can see it, how filthy, dirty it all was.
And how filthy dirty it all was. Remember, when Donald Trump got into office, remember how part of the problem that he had, because Russian collusion was hanging over him, did he do this? Is this what occurred? It was tough to initially get Republicans on the Hill to go along with him. Like, there had to be a lot of hand-wringing. Now, yeah, you're able to get your tax cuts, but any other legislation, it was difficult. And who were the people that were there? Paul Ryan, who hates his guts, who's running into the House.
Ugh.
And then who's over in the Senate? It's Mike Pence. Who, by the way, hates Donald Trump's guts. Say whatever he wants to.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's very clear.
But these were the people that looked at it as, we have this amateur We have a
That's a
person
great word.
who should be
amateur.
He should be back on television. This is a reality TV star. Never mind the fact that he was a billionaire mogul who had built companies around the world and had built hotels around the world. This is an amateur at what we do, and he's a reality star guy, and we got to get rid of him.
Boy, prove them wrong.
Sure has. He's learned how to play this game.
That's right. There's nothing amateur about the adaptation of the first 4 years, then being out and planning for the next 4 years.
He didn't come back as an amateur again.
Mm-hmm. He is a seasoned veteran, but with the same ideas, the same outsider mentality.
Yeah, the same caring for the country.
But they hate. That's why they still, to this moment, are trying to sink this presidency and won't stop.
That's a person who has still believed. Nationalism has not changed from his messaging. And being a populist. I'm going to do what most of the country is looking to have us do. That has been just the basis, and I think that is dangerous when it comes to, because he's built coalitions. He's built a coalition. Think about who launched his nuclear weapon last Friday. It's Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democrat. Who's the person who keeps taking apart parts of the FDA? It's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Like this should be the threat. This should be the ideal portion of government. We have Democrats and Republicans together running this in the best interest of the country.
But it's not.
But that's the danger.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, what if they all unite?
Yeah.
What do we do then?
We continue to fight like hell trying to take him down, but they continue to fail. And that's the thing that I can't get over, is that with everything they've done and everything that Tulsi Gabbard has laid out, from Fonnie Willis to Letitia James to Judge Boasberg, you name them, they've all went after him with fervor. They couldn't wait to get him. They're like, this is our chance. Every time, every new felony charge, we got him. And every time, the wheels have fallen off the bus.
So what is the retribution?
See, that's going to be
because Letitia James, we've known this since what, May?
Yeah.
Early part of June, we've known that she committed mortgage fraud, allegedly.
Well,
but when you have this many homes that you're claiming are your primary residence,
and your father's your husband on one of them,
and she didn't live in any of them,
yeah,
like it's different. If I buy, here's my primary residence, and I signed for it, lived in it for a couple of years, decided I'm going to rent it out, and I moved on to another house, and it's my primary residence. Lived in it for a couple of years, moved out, decided to rent it out. All right, that's not what she did. She never lived in these residences. There's no record of her ever being in these residences. And so the same thing with Adam Schiff. Suddenly claiming Maryland is your primary residence. Well, then you're not eligible to run for Congress out of California.
Uh-oh.
So until these are slam dunks. Trying to put Barack Obama in prison is like trying to throw a pass about 70 yards right on the money, in my opinion. These others are slam dunks. And if you're not getting the slam dunk, don't tell me about the 70-yard pass.
Yeah. And it would be more important, and we had a great caller earlier, Chris from Marietta, who talked about, I don't even care if they get Barack Obama. The ones I want all the people that helped him get it. And Los brought up something that I thought was really smart in the fact that he goes, okay, what if you get Obama and then you get the mugshot and him in handcuffs? Does it hurt you politically? Just the way the mugshot hurt the Democrat Party and the left when they got the mugshot of Donald Trump. And that's when Chris called and said, hey, I don't care if they get him. I don't care if they get Obama. Get everybody that was around him, everybody that was a part of it, and then you get a win-win.
If you want to have the fun, you can say, well, he's got presidential immunity. It's not going to apply in this case.
No, it doesn't.
But presidential immunity also doesn't apply to anyone else who was part of this.
Which is the most important. If you believe me, Barack Obama is going to be just fine. If he ends up in jail, which I do not expect, I'll be the first to say I don't expect it. But if you get everybody that was a part of it, they'll be frightened to do it again. If they get nothing, they'll be emboldened to do it again.
See, we're being taunted in this case. The goal of the left, and this is what's different about the communists versus us, we're looking at it still, at least I'm weighing the political implications. Do I want Barack Obama in prison for the rest of his life? Yeah, I do. And the only reason why is because the communists wanted Donald Trump in prison for the rest of his life. They wanted to take January 6 grandmothers and put them in prison for the rest of their life in the interest of being able to say, don't you dare ever consider questioning us about an election ever again. They are so power crazy that they are willing to go to the absolute limit. What I'm saying is that I don't know if we are, but we better get used to the idea of our opponents certainly are.
Yeah.
Like we're looking at it as like, it's like, well, we would never have Barack Obama in prison. Their goal was to put Donald Trump in prison for the rest of his life.
And there were no qualms about it. And there was not a soul that said, nah, we probably shouldn't do this.
We probably shouldn't.
Every one of them were on board.
To their detriment. That mugshot sits in the Oval Office. Like they were so overzealous with this that you created the next president with it. I don't know what putting Barack Obama into prison, considering he doesn't have any clout, in my opinion. Now that Biden's gone, I don't think he has any clout left in the Democrat Party. In fact, I think people are running from him based on what the results were for him pushing for Kamala Harris the way he did.
Certainly it feels that way and appears that way, but it sure would be
just let him kind of die.
Gratifying to see him.
I would like him in prison, but still, if you let him die on the vine, he dies on the vine.
Burning out. What is it? Instead of fading away, he just fades away.
Think about how frustrating it'll be long term. J.D. Vance is the betting favorite to win 2028. And so you're talking about 4 years of Donald Trump, followed by another 4 years of Vance, maybe with another 4 years of J.D. Vance. You realize how much that leaves the Obama presidency in the dust? You've destroyed everything about it, and you've made sure we will never go back to this mentality.
The dustbin of history. Boys are moving to the right because they were shoved by the left. We'll talk about that next on Extra 106.3.
The Morning Xtra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and the Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Extra 106.3.
I'll be honest, when my wife said, hey, I want to do those double doors on the front of the house, I was like, what? Double doors? What are you talking about? And I guess she'd seen them in a couple magazines or maybe even in the neighborhood. She was early on it. And I wasn't even sure that double doors could fit in our front door space. Little did I know they could, and little did I know the difference that they would make in the way our house looked. It was incredible. I even told her after it was done, I was like, I had no idea. I was wrong completely. This looks amazing, and I still to this day love it, and we did it probably 4 or 5 years ago. You can do the same thing with Southern Exteriors. Call them 8779-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co. Not only are those new double doors amazing to look at, but they're also super energy efficient. You don't feel any hot air coming into the house that you're trying to cool off. Works the same way with windows. If you have single pane windows, probably painted so you can't even open them. Or if you can, it's still single pane and you can feel the heat off the glass. Not with double pane windows. Again, Southern Exteriors. Roofing, siding, gutters, doors, windows, millworks. They can build you a nice screened-in back deck. They do incredible work. And right now, 10% off any job, no matter how big. Or you can get 0% financing for 12 months. Your choice. But get it done today. Call the professionals at Southern Exteriors. 8779-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co.
Hey, it's Flounder, and I've got 2 pieces of advice. Marry the girl of your dreams and get the ring at Solomon Brothers. That's what I did. I recently tied the knot, and my wife loves jewelry. So when I heard about Solomon Brothers' Christmas in July event, I was back in the store. Santa ditched the sleigh for a surfboard, and Solomon Brothers is celebrating with 31% off everything. Rings, necklaces, earrings, you name it. It's all 31% off for the 31 days of July. Premium pieces, unbeatable prices, and serious brownie points. Solomon Brothers is Atlanta's only 5-star rated jeweler with over 3,000 glowing reviews. They're the preferred jeweler of the Braves, proud partner of the Dogs, and official jeweler of Georgia Tech. So whether you're popping the question, shopping for your wife, or just want to treat yourself, Solomon Brothers is the place. So come see us at Solomon Brothers Jewelers on the 17th floor of Tower Place in Buckhead, on Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta, and on Fisher Crossing Drive in Sharpsburg. Or shop online anytime at solomonbrothers.com.
Military veterans are eager to transfer their skills and experiences to civilian life, but lack trusted connections to expedite their path to success. That is, until they meet the Warrior Alliance. The Warrior Alliance goes the extra mile to reach veterans in their communities so they do not have to take this journey alone. With over 40 partners across 10 service areas, your donation goes a long way toward achieving maximum impact for a veteran and their family. Go to thewarrioralliance.org to donate today and commit to helping the Warrior Alliance change thousands of lives for the better.
Good morning, Mike. What you eating?
You gotta try this.
I can hear you crunching from the next cube over.
This is amazing. I just discovered it this weekend at Lidl. It's Greek Goddess Gourmet Granola. They were sampling it, so I tried it. Then I bought 6 bags.
Wow. Is it cereal?
Can be. Or an amazing trail mix. It's great for a meal or a snack.
What's in it?
Well, they have 2 flavors, maple oat and harvest nut, which is my favorite. It's made with whole grain oats, almonds, pecans, raisins, coconut, and the sweet taste of pure maple syrup. Maple oat is a simpler take on their delicious granola. It's got wholesome oats, plump raisins, coconut, and maple syrup.
That sounds healthy and delicious.
That's why I can't stop crunching, Susan.
Greek Goddess Gourmet Granola. It's a breakfast or on-the-go snack you can feel good about. It's dairy-free and gluten-free, and with only 2 grams of added sugar per serving, even your belly will love it. Pick some up at Lidl, Amazon, GreekGoddessGourmet.com, or at specialty stores near you.
There's a tidal wave of clean car happiness sweeping across Braves country. Tidal Wave Auto Spa is your go-to car wash destination for a game day ready ride. Experience Major League Clean at Tidal Wave, the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves. Stay clean car happy all season long with membership discounts, exclusive giveaways, and more. Visit TidalWaveAutospa.com/Braves for details.
My car is happy. I am happy. Tidal Wave Auto Spa.
It's that time of year again. Chuck, the owner of Central Heating and Air Conditioning, is bringing back the 5th annual Christmas in July benefiting Skyland Trail, a nonprofit leading the way in mental health wellness right here in Atlanta. Skyland Trail provides expert, evidence-based treatment to help people facing mental health challenges find a path to recovery. Central Heating and Air Conditioning is proud to support this mission. As one of the few second-generation locally owned HVAC companies in Atlanta, Central knows what it means to give back. Here's how you can help. Just sign up for a maintenance agreement with Central Heating and Air Conditioning, and $10 from every new agreement will go directly to Skyland Trail, providing life-changing mental health care for adults and teenagers. Central services all makes and models, and with them, you're never just a number, you're part of the family. Call 770-GET-HEAT or visit centralheat.com to sign up and help Central Heating and Air Conditioning give back. Carrier products, carrier warranty, carrier peace of mind. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, July 21st. Cobb County Schools voted to approve a policy change to school board meetings. Public comments made during the meetings will no longer be broadcast. Cobb Superintendent David Chastain defended the measure, saying the district took on the risk of legal copyright challenges to some comments made from the public in recent years. Chastain says the new policy will allow meetings to be more efficient and focused on school and student issues. Georgia state law does not require school board meetings to be broadcast. 12 suspected child predators were arrested during Operation Phantom Whisper in Cherokee County. Federal, state, and local law enforcement worked together, posing online as an underage girl. The suspects were then arrested at different locations where meetups were arranged. Officials urged parents to be cautious of their children's online activities. And the remains of a Korean War veteran were laid to rest in Georgia after 75 years of being marked as an unknown soldier. Army Corporal Anthony Conzi was identified by DNA earlier this year. He was given a ceremony with full military honors in Cherokee County on Friday. Today's weather, partly cloudy and very hot with isolated thunderstorms this afternoon. Temperatures will reach the mid-90s. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. Over 200,000 jobs under their belt. 877-9-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co. 0% financing for 12 months, or you get 10% off any job that you get done with Southern Exteriors, no matter how big the job. So Los and I are over here debating furniture.
It's not debating. I agree with you. I don't know if you're debating your wife in your mind.
Yeah. We're discussing, probably a better word, discussing furniture, because he just came off of purchasing a whole bunch of new furniture for the outdoor.
The wife,
patio.
we had a patio set. I think we counted up. We've had it for, I want to say it was like 13 years.
That's quality right there.
we ran it down pretty good, and we actually gave it away in the neighborhood. We're like, free. Lazy Boy outdoor furniture, a nice family, couple young kids. They were like, yeah, we'll definitely use that. It's like, take it.
Perfect.
My wife, and a lot of this is, the impetus behind this is that every year for the Redskins game, when they play the Falcons, they are going to be coming into town. And every year when Washington plays Atlanta, they all come into town.
And your wife's a big fan.
Yeah, they're all Northern Virginia. That's their original place of origin. Well, what's happened this year is that they've decided to make it into the family reunion trip. So now I've been informed that I'm going to have 30 people in my home the Saturday, this actually being the Georgia-Alabama game. That's the Saturday before the Sunday Washington-Atlanta game.
Wowzers, 30 people?
30 people.
Son.
So we've already lined out, like, and everyone's going to split up the cost when it comes to, like, the catering of stuff. We're just going to do, like, a taco bar kind of setup.
How many people staying in the house versus
they're over for the party on Saturday.
Okay.
We're only going to have maybe I'd say like 4 or 5 people that are staying.
Okay.
They're all hotels and everything else. Yeah. No, they're not all sleeping.
I was like, good Lord. I mean, I know your house is big.
It's like triple up Home Alone. This is going to be crazy.
No kidding.
But part of what she wanted to do was she wanted outdoor furniture that would be set up to handle this kind of party. So, yeah. And I found a clearance model, and yet still I'm like, okay.
But it was better than the number
what it would have been. For what we would have gotten versus what we got. I was like, oh, Lord.
Goodness. She was about to spend some money.
And keep in mind, like, we lined it out in this house where we negotiated for them to, like, leave some of their furniture behind because they didn't want to travel. They didn't want to move it. It wasn't going to fit in their next house, and we negotiated to do it. So when my wife goes like, you realize what this couch would have cost if we bought it? I'm like, no, not at all. And then I found out
very quickly
what it actually costs if you try to buy it.
Your sweet wife got good taste. I can tell by the price tag. She got good taste. Because we're almost in that situation with my son moving into a new house, and his new roommate just bought a house over in Augusta, so they're going to move into that bad boy. It's closed on Friday, but they said, hey, do y'all got any furniture? And no, we don't.
What do you mean?
We do not have a whole bunch of furniture. So that was our this weekend.
Well, he's had dorm living basically the last 2 years, right?
Well, the first year, and then it was in because remember, he transferred mid-year. So he was in a house. They had already furnished everything, so we didn't have to worry about it. And we stayed with the same roommate, and we were just able to move all that furniture to the apartment over in Sumter. So long story short, now this new house has nothing. And my wife's like, well, she's on Facebook Marketplace, just trying to find something that college boys are going to rip apart, whatever. My problem was, I was like, but we're going to have to move that. Moving, like going up out I-20 over to Augusta with couches hanging off the back of the truck, I was like, sounds like a terrible plan.
If you found, let's say 3 pieces, and by the time you get the U-Haul, and by the time you have to drive around to pick them up, and yeah, you're going to pay your cash for it, and then you're going to keep it moving, and now you got to unload it. The difference is when you do that extra country show, you say, this is worth it for me to spend the extra $200.
$200. That's what we narrowed it down to.
$200 difference for me to have it moved into the house by whether it's rooms to go or anybody else, and they put it down and they take care of everything, and they got you covered.
It's worth $200.
Yes, I totally agree.
I was like, good Lord, can you imagine? Because not only that, you got to go pick it up at the place you're buying it. Then you got to bring it home for how long you got out there. Then you strap it to the truck and then drive 2.5 hours out I-20. Just sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
Even when it's bedding, one of the best things is when it shows up and they put it together for you.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't know if you know this, my girls are a little bit too young to be useful on this.
Yeah, right.
And my wife, because of dealing with some of the sciatic nerve pain she's had, she's not really good at helping with anything anymore.
Yeah.
So it's all on me. So if I can do the white glove service for $20, I'm like, here's the $20, put it together.
Absolutely right. So Los and I are on the same page because we've been in the same hunt for different styles of furniture, but the same furniture. I'm glad you brought up the Redskins, though. It's interesting that led you that came out part of this conversation because Donald Trump set ESPN on fire yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
My notifications, I normally have them turned off. For some reason, I didn't mute Yahoo Sports and ESPN because look at this, dude. I mean, it's just notification after notification, and all to do with Donald Trump saying that those teams that have changed their names, like the Washington Redskins, or now known as the Commanders, should change their name back. The Cleveland Indians should change their name back from the Guardians. And he said, if you want me to support Washington getting a new stadium, you better change the name back first.
All right, first off, I love that.
Me too. Such a power play.
The history still goes back to the same thing. So all their fans still call them the Redskins.
Of course, we have a huge fan, Ice Cold Stu, in this building who's a giant Redskins fan, and he was even blowing up. I don't know if you saw his tweets last night. He was like, is this thing Donald Trump talking about real? Because I hope it is.
The fans want it back. Same way that the Cleveland Indian fans want it back. Now, I don't know what kind of craziness ever actually got rid of the name Indians. Now, if you want to tell me, and they went away from Chief Wahoo a long time ago.
For sure.
Like that logo where they're like, that might be considered a little bit offensive. Okay, they went away from it.
Yeah, sure.
Now they're just the Cleveland Indians. And that wasn't enough because you gave up on that point. When it comes to the Redskins, I think people lack the institutional knowledge of who created it, what it was supported by. It was considered the regional tribes team.
That's right.
That's who created the logo. That's who had the name.
The chief of the tribe physically drew the logo. And they were like, nope, not good enough.
It's like, wait a minute. So the regional tribe that made this basically their team, their colors, their logo, and somewhere crazy white liberal cat lady was like, well, he must have just been racist.
Had to be. Absolutely had to be racist. And so during that fervor of that time, right around the summer of love and coming out of COVID and just the crazy place that we were, they finally gave in. They finally said, you know what, we're going to... Remember they called them the Washington football team, which I think would be better than the Commanders, but whatever. I'm not a fan of the team, so I guess I don't have a dog in the fight, but I can't help but notice the irony of the reason they changed the name versus the people that wanted them to keep it. It's so ironic to me that they folded for Crazy Cat Lady. That's who they... Crazy Cat Lady don't even watch football.
The problem that occurred when it came to the Redskins name, Daniel Snyder at the time was caught up in a huge sexual scandal in terms of how women had been treated in the building, what had gone on. He was caught up in the Me Too movement, basically. That it was, how were they treated? What was the organizational standpoint on this? When they had disagreements or they decided to bring stuff to the attention of management, how was it handled by management? It's the same thing that, you know, looking at what Mark Cuban and his organization got caught up in. Mark Cuban was like, wow, you were asleep at the wheel. This is going on. But because of that situation, the team, when it came to the Redskins, were pressured, not just into, you're going to change your name. You want this to go away? You're changing your team name. Not only that, once he did that, then it turned into, and now you're going to sell the team. Dan Snyder sold the team. And so they got new management, new ownership, and obviously they're in a much better place with everything that they have going on now. But now isn't the time when you're back and everything's rolling the way you want it to. And I hate saying that because I'm a Cowboy fan. Now's the time to go. And why don't you give them their team name back too? Because the reasons by which you got rid of it were all faulty.
Cherry on top.
Yes.
For Redskins fans.
Look into it. Dan Snyder and the sexual allegations of what was going on in there to women in that organization.
And then when you're done with that, read about the logo and who created it. Who physically drew the logo in honor of a chief. That's the thing I think you can't look over. And when I remember hearing from his family being so upset that they had changed the logo for the Washington Redskins, because they were like, even if you change the name, keep the logo. Don't you understand what this logo means?
It's part of the Blackfeet tribe. Two Guns White Calf is the person that's the logo is constructed after.
Mm-hmm. In honor of.
And so that ends up being what had to go away because, again, it only takes a minute to look it up, but liberal cat white lady who's complaining about this, and in the fervor that was 2020, people lost their minds. They sat inside and they looked for ways to be angry. Meanwhile, I was living my life. I was killing grandmas everywhere.
Buddy,
we're drinking and hanging out and going to bars and hanging out at places.
Downtown Alpharetta did not participate in COVID.
Yeah. Let me tell you, good old days did not participate in COVID.
God bless them.
In fact, it turned into, hey, I know you were planning on probably smoking that. Why don't you smoke 5 of them?
Yes, right. And here at the bar.
Yes,
not outside.
Not outside. Do it in the bar. So meanwhile, when everybody else is losing their mind, I'm just sitting there at the bar going, they want to do what? That just sounds silly.
And the Braves are really smart because they had the support of the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians. And they made that front and center. There was already a strong relationship there with the Braves and the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians. But they made that a priority and put it out front. And that's the only reason I believe that the Braves are still called the Atlanta Braves, which I can't imagine finding fault with the Braves. What a better title. Someone that's brave enough to go out and fight. Someone brave enough to go out and defend. I mean, that was what a Brave was and is still. So I love the fact that I even have a T-shirt that they sold over at the Braves Clubhouse store, Los, and it's the word ball player in the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians' native language. And it's got the Braves logo on top, the big Atlanta A, and then it just says ball player. It's the coolest shirt that I own.
Just to put a bow on a portion of this when it comes to the Redskins. So in 2023, the NFL fined, at the time now, former Washington Commanders owner Daniel Snyder $60 million after an independent investigation concluded he sexually harassed a team employee and that the team withheld revenue from the NFL. That's how they got the team name changed. That's how they got him to sell.
Now that all that's done, could it be coming back? I guess we'll find out. This is the Morning Xtra at Extra 106.3, Tug and Los until 10. A 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999, 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co. Mr. and Mr. Obama. One man has had enough. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, July 21st. The Atlanta Braves came out of the All-Star break by dropping 2 of 3 over the weekend to the New York Yankees at Truist Park, including a 4-2 loss yesterday afternoon. Tonight, the San Francisco Giants come to town to open up a 3-game series. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear the game action live on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. As for the Major League Baseball trade deadline, that is coming up on July 31st. Scotty Scheffler is the Open champion, winning the tournament by 4 strokes over Harris English. Scheffler is the #1 ranked player in the world. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Make going back to school a little more fun as the Brewers and Marlins come to Truist Park August 4th through the 10th. The week includes the Ronaldo Lopez bobblehead giveaway presented by Coca-Cola, followed by the Ronald Acuna Jr. Funko Pop giveaway presented by Xfinity. Then head into the weekend series where it's all about the kids, including Kids Club Day on August 9th, plus 2 Kids Gate giveaways featuring the Chris Sale Triple Crown and the Kids Sliding Mitt. And the second half of August is even more stacked, with more fun as the White Sox and division rival Mets battle the Braves August 18th through the 24th. Fans can look forward to 3 giveaways, including the 1995 World Series replica ring presented by Coca-Cola on Alumni Night, which will celebrate the 30th anniversary of the World Series title, a camo rope hat presented by Realtree as part of the hunting and fishing night at Truist Park, and more. Tickets start at just $10, so get yours today at Braves.com/promos. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards. So you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
There are nut jobs on the road. Who knows where they learn to drive? If one of them hits you, don't take care of it on your own. Call my friend David Van Sant, 855-GA-INJURY. Van Sant Law, one of Georgia's top-rated personal injury lawyers and car accident firms. Time is of the essence. Don't waste any. The longer you wait to get the right lawyer, the longer it takes to get the compensation you deserve. Call Van Sant Law today. The number is 855-GA-INJURY. VanSantLaw.com.
By texting 26022, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Tax Lien Code. Message and data rates may apply. Terms apply. Available at taxliencode.com.
Imagine waking up and not needing to rush. No commute, no emails, no boss. Just coffee, sunlight, and the freedom to choose. That's the power of tax lien investing. It's been around for over 200 years, used by banks, hedge funds, and the wealthy. And now, finally, it's being taught right here in Atlanta. It's secure, predictable, passive income backed by real estate and mandated by state law. And it pays you, sometimes 15 to 35% returns. You don't need to own property. You just need to see how it works and how to do it right. We've taught over 100,000 students, and we'll teach you for free at a live masterclass right here in Atlanta. If you're ready to start building real wealth through tax lien investing, this is it. Text EARN to 26022 to reserve your free seat. That's EARN to 26022. But hurry, seats are limited. Text EARN to 26022.
We have all been in bad relationships at some time or another in our life. They drain us, they weigh us down, and they wear on us. So we just resolve that things won't change, and then we decide to live with it and make the best of a bad situation. That's also what my pain felt like. I tried everything, and I guess I just stopped expecting better. I just resolved to myself that maybe this is just my life. With Relief Factor, you don't have to stay in that relationship with pain. You can break up with pain, like Anthony did. He wrote to me and told me, I was dealing with debilitating pain and fatigue. I've been taking Relief Factor for about 2 months, and I am back to running my own business. I'm back to fishing and gardening and all the things that are truly important to me in my life. Relief Factor is the 100% drug-free solution that targets the inflammation causing your pain, back, neck, joints, wherever it hurts. Break up with your pain. Try Relief Factor, the 3-week quick start, $19.95. Visit relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. We've been kind of teasing this, and we played a little bit of it earlier, about a man who is sick and tired of Barack Obama. I don't know if he even cares about what Tulsi Gabbard brought up when it comes to taking faulty, made-up, manufactured intel and using it against Donald Trump. I don't think he cares about that. That's not even part of his anger with Barack Obama.
If I may, now I've only been a trans black lesbian, so I only have a certain understanding of this.
Sure.
And I've also never been a black man in America, so clearly I have no understanding of this. At the same time, I think one of the things that's been pushed across the board is the importance of having fathers in the home.
Oh my God.
Because in minority communities, that's a huge issue.
Most important.
It's a huge issue. Like I'm very much value the fact that when my kids go to bed, they know dad is down the hall and I'll see you in the morning and I will be there to pick you up for wherever or to be at whatever school play or anything sports related. And if you have any questions or you need any help, I'm there. The same way mom is. And I think a lot of this too, the black community catches a lot of flack about the lack of fathers in the homes. So when you have Barack Obama go on to a podcast and proceed to say that young men need older gay men as mentors, you start looking around going, hold on a second. Especially the people that I think are going to have the biggest problem with that are black fathers in the home.
And that's what this guy is.
Where you've been telling me for the longest amount of time that one of the issues the community faces is fatherless homes. And I am a black father in the home, not me speaking for this person who I believe this is where his point of anger was coming from.
Exactly right.
And you've now told me, here's the problem we're having, and now you're going to make the excuse that what my kid really needs is to have a more mature gay father figure to be the person that's going to help mentor them.
Now, I'm glad Mr. and Mr. Obama is taking time out and spending time and doing the podcast together. But I just know I didn't hear Mr. Obama Sr. say what he said. This man had the audacity to say that he believed young men would be a lot better if they had a prideful man in their life. If you know what I mean by prideful, that's just me trying not to get community guidelines. He said a lot of these young men need a prideful man in their lives to expose them to other things that they might have not seen from a regular man. From a regular man like they daddy. So they need a prideful man in their life to show them the other side of the world. But what the is Obama talking about? I'm so sick and tired of him. Your presidency is over. Sit down and stop trying to be relevant. We know what you like. We've been knew what you like. We know about you, and we know about Mr. and Mr. Obama. We know what you like. So why is you steady trying to force that down the throats of our black American people? You are so detrimental to the black community, and a lot of black people don't even see it.
And he goes on to say, I'm a father in my home. I don't need you telling me what my kids need.
Now, I didn't listen to the audio beforehand. I also didn't listen because I never heard that portion of it. But that point of anger, that point of being frustrated and getting after Obama, I was able to guess it from what it sounds like in his voice of, hold on a second, I'm in my home, I'm taking, and your explanation for raising my kids is that they also need this? It's like, no.
He was having none of it. And we cut it way down because he went on for 4 or 5 minutes. Furious, livid. Another thing that I took away from that, and this is away from this conversation, but it shows you how good they were during COVID to make you horrified of telling the truth. He said, I called him a prideful man in my life. That way I don't get community guidelines.
I don't catch a strike.
That's exactly right. Knowing that Twitter, because this is where it was posted, that Twitter is open now, there are still people that are concerned with having their account suspended or whatever because of how well they did that during COVID and even up to now. They still talk about it.
I'm just remembering now, because again, I don't live in my mentions. I just kind of click and go like, oh, that's funny, or somebody points something out, or oh, there's a little heart. It's cool.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And the reason why is because I think we put in so much to this show that why would I do large portions of the show away from the show? Mm-hmm. Why would I spend 30 minutes arguing with somebody over something where I can just turn on this microphone, we have the discussion. If you want to call in and have the argument here, fine. You want to send something on X during the show, fine. Then we have the discussion there. But one of the funniest things I heard was, in my case, well, he only does it for clicks. Dude, I don't run a website.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I'm not making a penny off of it.
2005 is calling and asking for their vernacular back.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, what do you mean clicks?
Yeah, no idea.
I don't do any of this stuff. But I think what's also important is that man who's in that video is pointing out what has now become, as I said, in the zeitgeist. It's now becoming regular for them to recognize that Barack Obama is not straight.
Yeah. And we first learned that, and we played it earlier, we won't have to play it again, but Joan Rivers, when she said that, she was asked, will we get a gay president or a female president first? And she was like, what are you talking about? We've already had a gay president. I mean, she said it so matter of fact. Like it wasn't even a second for her to think about it. It was so truthful to her that she just said it.
And you can go to Emory. And Emory University has all the writings that Barack Obama had that he was writing to his collegiate girlfriend, and he talked about fantasizing about men daily. that he was doing that in his mind.
He wrote that in letters to her. That tells you where he was. Down at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. Can you believe that that's there?
It's there. If you told me, if you're a woman and you said, well, I fantasize about men daily, I'd go, all right, high five, girlfriend.
Healthy. You're probably a healthy lady.
If Jeray said that, I'd be like, you might want to move out from being with that girlfriend. I don't think long term you're going to be very happy.
It's not going to work.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
I'm just going to say it may not work. She may need to know about this the same way that Barack Obama wanted to let his college girlfriend know about this.
You read my college letters. It's like Penthouse Forum. Since we were talking about that last week.
But it is a big jump for the rest of the community to know about this, to say, hey, it's Mr. and Mr. Obama.
We had a text to the show this morning from a friend of the show that was like, you're exactly right. It's exactly right. And this man that said this, he was infuriated, and he's over Barack Obama. We're getting to that point. We're getting past Barack Obama as a politician and as a part of the popular culture of the United States.
If he loses his influence on the black community, and I believe that's already starting to happen.
It's certainly eroding.
If it gets to the point where who he is and what he is about becomes mainstream, it's over with. You don't have to worry about him anymore as a political influence, because he's not going to be able to deliver that vote ever or be able to talk to that.
I got to tell you, man, I think we're
getting real close. We're heading that direction.
If it's not already happened, give it a little while. It's coming. It's here. It's known. And then, Joan Rivers even I don't know what Michelle is. I have no idea. There's no way for me to know. But Joan Rivers
flat out says.
She delivered it with surgically. She said straight up, there was no ands, ifs, or buts. There was not if. Here's what I think. She delivered as, this is fact. I don't know. But Joan Rivers did. She was not holding back.
And she was dead shortly thereafter.
Yeah, not saying they're connected. Not saying
it was
they're
a
not.
mishap during surgery.
Yes, I suppose so.
Got something to add to the reading list from a good listener, Charles.
Charles, what's up, man?
A book called The Communist by Paul Kanger, and it talks about Obama's mentor growing up.
Was that Jeremiah
was that
Wright?
his grandfather?
Or dad?
He didn't mention that.
Didn't know him.
That is the book.
Because his dad was a communist.
He's
his
got
mom
communist
was a
family members.
Oh, yeah. They were all communists. Every one of them. So it's no surprise that he's a communist when you're raised that way. Goodness. All right, that'll do it for us. Going to turn this thing over to Beck. Then Clay and Buck, biggest show in all of conservative media, and the Kimmer Show from 3 until 6 with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Thank you so much for being here. We owe you a debt of gratitude, and we know that. So we appreciate Charles calling in and everybody that called in or interacted with us on social media today. For Los and Jeray, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.